As a metaphor for the Claymores season, you could do worse than whisper Goodman. Against Berlin, the quiet one carried Scotland's offense and on this run broke Saran Stacey's single-game rushing record. But on their last drive, needing one more first down to set up a game-winning field goal, Goodman carried twice, got stuffed both times. Whisper loses the record, and Scotland loses the game. The story of the Claymores' passing attack is even sadder. When Scott Dreisbach puts the ball on the money, his receivers don't get there. But too often, Dreisbach hasn't been able to get the ball past defenders. Often, he hasn't been able to see them dropping back into coverage. It all looked so different back in Week 1. 2 touchdown passes to English-born wide receiver Scott McCready raised all our expectations. The good news for Claymores fans is their opponents this week are the same Barcelona Dragons. The Dragons' offense has been even worse than Scotland's, but last week Carl Fair broke out of the doldrums for a 71-yard touchdown run. Of course, the Dragons lost anyway, 45-31.
10 years ago, this stadium hosted the Olympic Games here in Barcelona. It's always been home to the Barcelona Dragons as long ago as 1991, but no more after today. Jack Bicknell's team will be playing in a new stadium. More of that later on. I'm sure his players want to win for Jack Bicknell. He's so popular here, isn't he?
Yeah, Bicknell is such an inspiration to all of his guys. The theme this entire week was, we want to win this one for the coach. I mean, such an impact in such a short time. You figure these guys have just been with him just for a short time, but has a tremendous impact on his players.
Well, Jack Bicknell has been here all throughout the league's history. Gene Dahlquist is just closing up his second season in charge in Glasgow. He was 4-6 last year, trying to avoid going 4-6 this year as well. It's a season that began so promisingly with a big win against these very same Dragons, but then the offense got bogged down and no World Bowl appearance for Scotland. Lawrence Tynes from the Kansas City Chiefs will kick it off. There are the deep men. Derek Homer to the left, Marco Martos to the right. Absolutely beautiful weather. Sunbathing weather, Sean, really.
Just terrible. I mean, I hate the people at Fox for punishing us.
Yes, what have we done wrong? We should be on a beach somewhere. Tynes with the kickoff. Fielded a yard deep in his end zone by Homer. And Homer gets past the first guy and then is stopped by Hurley Tarver, and Mawuko Tugbenyo at the 24-yard line. So Ted White allocated here from the Oakland Raiders. Started out the season as the backup, but just impressed Jack Bicknell, not only with his play on the field, but his poise and his assurance off the field as well. He really has won a lot of friends here in Barcelona.
Yeah, this is his second stint here for Ted White, not here in Barcelona, but a part of NFL Europe, and people are just raving about his maturity and the progression that he's made just in these few short weeks.
Well, I saw him 2 years ago, and he struggled then. It's been a revelation this year. First down. What will the Dragons do? They usually throw, and they're going to throw here as well, and it's incomplete. They were looking for Daniel Guy. They are depleted at the wide receiver position. Guy there, we saw, unable to pull that one in, getting his first start of the season. The offensive line, Damien Cook, Halana Noah, Ray Radziniak, Tim Stuber, and Joe Wong. Big guys all allocated from NFL teams. Richmond Flowers, Daniel Guy, and Marco Martos also makes his first start at wide receiver. Robbie Snelling is the tight end. Derek Homer will get the start in the backfield. We'll expect to see a lot of Carl Fair as well in the backfield. They do rotate those two guys. And they'll go on the ground this time. And Homer will spin round and round and round with Hurley Tarver on his back. And will pick up around 7 yards. The Scottish Claymores defense features an Englishman up front, Rob Flickinger, along with Pernell Davis and Cedric Pittman. The linebackers Mawuko Tugbenyo and Tony Ortiz outside, Michael Hawks, Junior Robinson. The inside guys, Keith Hayward-Johnson, Willie Gary, Earl Riley, and Hurley Tarver, who made that tackle there, are the secondary men. And we have third down and a long 2. Back on the ground. Not much doing here for Homer. He was read all the way by Todd Franz, who came along and broke that one up. So 3 and out for the Dragons.
Yeah, and that's a good example of how you play up the field and getting good support from your corner people. You know, when you talk about the run, people are always talking about how the defensive line and linebackers should control the run. But I tell you what, your best friend in the running game is a corner that can play hard corner and corner force.
Bill LaFleur has given up more punt yards than anybody else. J.J. Moses is averaging over 11 yards a punt return. So statistically, this is a mismatch. Can the Claymores take advantage? Lafleur gets off a high hanging kick. Moses calls for a fair catch and gets good field position out of it as well at the 35-yard line. And a bit of shenanigans going on the field, and we talked about this. These two teams with nothing to play for, nothing to do, and there's a little bit of chippiness out there. As you said, Sean, they've got issues.
The season is over, but the game isn't. You know, you have to keep playing. These guys are showing that they have to be aggressive because we've said it before. Everyone in NFL Europe knows that these guys are going to be filler guys, and they're going to be special team players. You have to show that attitude.
James Brown gets his first start as a Scottish Claymore. He's been patiently the backup. He played under Gene Dahlquist at the University of Texas. He's played 3 years in the Arena League. And Scott Dreisbach, who he's replacing today, said, listen, it'd be great if we could get James Brown into a camp. And that kind of selfless attitude is really what Dreisbach is all about. Brown gets his opportunity now. What can he do? On first down, he gives it to Goodman. And Goodman blasts his way off right tackle for a 9-yard gain. Renard Cox was there on the stop. The big offensive line has certainly opened up a lot of holes for Goodman this season. Borum, Lovelady, O'Neill, Fritz, and Ian Allen. And Goodman in the backfield. Dondre Gilliam, Kwame Cavill, and Scott McCready are the wideouts. Elliot Carson from the Tennessee Titans is the tight end. Gain of 9 on first down. Gives Brown all kinds of options here on second down and short.
Sit up! Flag 93! Flag 93!
They'll play it safe and go on the ground. Goodman needed a yard, and it looks like he's just about got it from where they have spotted that. So let's take a look at this Dragons defense, which is ranked dead last statistically right across the board. Troy Pelchak, the Swede, Dan Peterson, Ennis Davis, and Ron Warner are the starters up front. Cornelius Anthony, Rashard Harris, and Jim Emmanuel are the linebackers, and the strength is the secondary. Dempsey Deese and Wade Davis on the corners. Jason Moore and former Claymore Renard Cox are the safeties. They've moved the chains. First down at the 43-yard line.
Red 88! Red 88!
Elliot Carson shifts. Brown, with lots of time now, will take off, and instead he throws it to a wide-open Goodman, who did the old trick of looking upfield before you got the ball in your hands.
Yeah, and Goodman has done such a good job of running the football, but in order to fill out his role, the role that he's going to have to play in Green Bay, he's going to have to be more manageable in terms of catching the ball out the backfield. Green Bay does so much one back and third down. That's the role. The Dorsey Levens role that was occupied by him in years past, that's the role that a guy like Goodman would have to fill out in Green Bay.
So second down. McCready, Gilliam, and Cavill are the 3 wide receivers.
Red 88! Red 88!
Second and 10, Brown will throw. Again, good protection, and he's got a man this time, Kwame Cavill, who cuts inside and picks up 14 yards. That's his 14th catch of the season. Dempsey Deese on the stop. Brown with a completion in early days here, Sean, but Brown's looking pretty composed.
Yeah, he's looking composed, and you mentioned it earlier. A guy like Dreisbach, who has been your starter the entire season, takes a step back, knowing what this league is supposed to be all about. And throughout this whole broadcast, you're going to continue to hear what this league is all about. Guys getting their opportunity to shine, and people being able to see that opportunity.
So first down in Barcelona territory. They're at the 37-yard line. Back on the ground. Goodman, not much doing this time. He's corralled and then stopped. Cornelius Anthony was the first man there. Then he got some help. Anthony's had a busy season as well in Dragons colours as well. Really flies to the football and makes things happen.
He's really aggressive, and Anthony, it's really, this defense has been enigmatic, I should say, to me, because when you look at them, they have quality guys, decent team speed, but they've been deluged by injuries. The injuries have just killed them. So you have guys playing not the same positions from week to week, and that affects your continuity. But a kid like Anthony will go back to San Francisco. I'm telling you, with their defense the way it is, with the linebacking core that San Francisco has, Anthony has a great opportunity up there.
He's their leading tackler. That was his 48th of the season. Second down and 10 after no gain. Here's Goodman again, nothing doing there, and the adjustments have been made. Ron Warner on the stop, and a loss of 3 yards brings up third down and long.
we just mentioned it before. We said you look at these guys, a guy like Warner has the size, has the ability, but you don't understand why this team hasn't been making more plays. Warner, well, first of all, he's on block, but he does a very good job of evading the guard coming from the backside and making a quality play. But you don't see enough of those in terms of back-to-back plays, and that's what's been bothering this Barcelona defense.
He's allocated from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been on the Bears practice squad, the Redskins practice squad. He's been in a Saints camp, always bounced around on Warner, and he bounced a little bit early there. Flags everywhere.
But you got to keep playing, though.
Get the play off to Robert Arnaud, and Arnaud will be close to first down yardage, and another flag comes in, and certainly big number 99 moved early. Now, whether he was drawn or not, and then there was a second flag after the play as well. So quite a bit for Michael Weir and his crew to sort out. He goes against Scotland.
Now, what I'm interested to see is, was there a play? Was there contact? Did the play stop? Because the first thing you're taught in defense is that you play until you hear the whistle. And so was there a whistle? Now, that's what we have to sort out here.
And still the conversations go on. And now he's going to discuss it with the Claymores before telling us what his call is.
It's still going to be third down, right? It's going to be third. All right, we want the penalty.
Ron Warner is continuing to plead his innocence. And here's Michael Weir.
Offsides, number 99. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Well, I thought the original call was against the Claymores, but certainly Warner moved, didn't he?
Yeah, he did move, and I don't know where. I'm still trying to see what the call is.
Very strange. Anyway, they've taken the penalty, so they will replay third down. It's at the 13, and third and 13. It's now 3rd and 8. Now, penalties, whatever the problems have been for Barcelona this year, flags have not been one of them. Brown will throw on third down. Swings it out to Goodman, who's got some daylight in front of him, and he's pushed out of bounds right by that first down marker by Wade Davis. And where have they spotted that? That's the key here. Davis, another very solid player in the secondary. I remember at the start of the season, Sean, Jack said, this may be my best secondary unit ever. They're moving the chains. And it's a mystery to him why his defense has statistically underachieved as badly as it has. And I know, as you said, injuries have been a factor, but there's more to it than that, it seems.
Yeah, but coming out of camp, like you said, Coach McNell said, this is as good a group as I've had. And things have just not worked in that way. And I don't know if the talent level is just better all around, but haven't worked for Barcelona in this season.
First down. Goodman gets nothing whatsoever. Absolutely flat. Troy Grant was there. Troy Pelchak may have helped as well. The pass rush specialist in his second year with the Dragons. And Goodman finding the going tough here in the Catalan sunshine.
Go to wing left.
Honestly, you play your football in Green Bay, then you're asked to come out and play here. What's snow? They don't have it here.
It kind of throws you off a little bit. You don't know how to react.
Red 88. Red 88.
Second down and long. Brown will take to the air once again. And it's incomplete. Elliot Carson just seemed to drop it. There was presence there, no more than that from Renard Cox, the safety man, but that just looked like one that Carson let get away.
Little Carson letting him get away because you like to be able to make that catch, but Brown has to put that ball out in front of him just a tad more. And, you know, this being your first start, you got to understand that the rust is going to be there a little bit, and anticipation is going to be there, and the anxiety is going to be there. So you work through that. The game slows down. You hear about the game slowing down, and then you hope to have the kind of success that he's had so far.
4 wide receivers in on third and long. Brown from the shotgun, trying to keep this drive alive. And he's got a wide open Scott McCready, and the man from the New England Patriots will pick up 17 yards. And he's been doing a lot of celebrating this afternoon, Scott McCready, because like me, he's an Englishman, and like me, no doubt, he was watching the World Cup this afternoon. Sean, I don't know where you were when that was going on, but there were a lot of high five going on among the English contingent with the Scottish Claymores.
I tell you what, it takes so little to make you Brits happy.
And who's that with Scott McCready there? Who's that?
Oh, my goodness.
He's not in the World Cup.
Mr. McCready, we got a chance to do that in Green Bay, go to see the president. And
you know what that game jersey is there, don't you, Sean?
I really can't see
That's an England soccer jersey.
I can't really pay. We'll talk about that a little bit more, Nick.
Here goes Brown on first down inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. Second down and goal for the Scottish Claymores. Ennis Davis on the stop.
Now, what Brown gives you is this kind of mobility where he can look down the field, see what's there, survey what's happening, and if it's not there, be able to tuck the ball. And he's really not what you'd call a scrambling quarterback, a drop-back quarterback that has the ability to run. But teams are looking for more and more guys that have that ability where they can put the fear of God in defense.
They've spun their wheels in the red zone this season, the Scottish Claymores. Let's see what they can do here. They give it to Goodman, and Goodman looks to cut back inside behind the block. Second effort, does he get in? Real close, down inside the 1, about 6 inches away from the end zone. That's going to bring up third down and goal.
Yeah, and Goodman's picking up right where he left off last week. Let me tell you something. I saw this kid about 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, man, he's just not really taking it up in the way I'd like to see him do. And I tell you what, I take it all back. The last couple weeks, this kid has been running with abandon. There have not been holes at times. He's created holes. And when he sees a hole, when he sees a short corner, he hits it hard. He's been doing that the last couple weeks, picking up where he left off last week.
Third down and short. Here's Goodman again. Touchdown, Scotland. A very impressive opening drive from the Claymores. And you got a feeling that ball's going home. That's going back to Green Bay with Herbert Goodman.
I tell you what, it's funny. You can play Pee-wee, you can play, oh my God. Now talk about a guy that takes your breath away. But what is that? A Scottish cheesehead?
That is a cheddar head, he calls himself.
Okay, all right.
There's usually 2 of them. I don't know where his partner is.
Do Scots have cheese?
There's another Englishman. Let's get back to the World Cup. Here's Rob Hart, West Ham United fan, tacking on the extra point. And the Scottish Claymores are on top early here in the Catalan capital. 7-0 they lead. There's the other cheddar head. They're both here. And they'll be happy that their Claymores have taken the early lead. There's an inquest going on the Dragons sidelines. How did we give up a 13-play, 64-yard drive that took nearly 8 minutes off the clock and culminated with Herbert Goodman's 1-yard touchdown run? Very impressive drive that from the Claymores.
Impressive drive by the Claymores, but consistent defense by being inconsistent by Barcelona. It's the same kind of things that have plagued them the entire season. And I said before, when you look at the guys, man to man, they should match up very well against the Claymores. They have not done that thus far this afternoon.
So Tynes will kick off once again. Homer and Martos are the deep men. And Homer will take this one out as well. Homer to the 25 and looking for a seam, is eventually shoved out of bounds. Let's take another look at that touchdown.
Yeah, look at the touchdown, but look what they come with. They come with the power eye. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. And you get a man on a man. Everybody gets a man. And because of that, when you get a block here, boom, in the end zone, touchdown, Goodman. You can't execute. I haven't seen a power eye since I played for the Montclair Cobras. You see that in like Pop Warner. They came with 3 guys in the backfield.
I was going to say, that sounds like it was a long time ago, Sean.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man, the power eye.
33 yards on the return. First down at the 35-yard line. White puts one upstairs. Richmond Flowers makes the catch, and Flowers is corralled almost immediately. They'll give him 6, and Flowers has to be the go-to guy for the passing game today for Barcelona, though they've got so few fit receivers.
You're going to see Flowers right here. We talked about him in the opening. And what I love about Flowers more than anything else is his attitude. I talked to him and I said, you've got a better feel for the game. Not basically what happens on the field, but just the attitude for the game. You got a better feel for the game than I did when I first started playing.
Second down. Homer gets into midfield and more, into Claymore's territory. Eventually Tony Ortiz on the stop, but an 11-yard gain for Homer allocated here from the Baltimore Ravens.
I want to talk about Flowers again real quickly. Mention the attitude, because you just throw that word out there like, well, what does he mean, attitude? There's an attitude that you have to have in this league, and most guys, especially when you come from a small school, you don't figure it out. A lot of guys until it's too late, or you're well into your career. This kid seems to have grasped it a lot earlier than most kids I've known.
They call him Intenso. White gets another pretty intense guy as well, Marco Martos, the veteran Mexican who came in to this, his 6th NFL Europe season with 52 catches, and that's his 8th of the season so far. And there's another guy with a terrific attitude as well, just loves to play the game. And the last 3 years, he said to me, this is my last year, I'm retiring. I didn't even bother asking him this year, because you know he's going to say, yeah, I'm retiring, and you know he'll be back next year as well.
6 years in the league. You got to understand, the league has been on 10 years, so 6 years in this league. This is like George Blanda playing out there.
Oh, he'll love that.
Easy, easy, easy. White, 11.
Easy means they're changing the plane. White 11. Play up the middle.
2nd down and 5. White looks for Flowers. White bring it in. And that's going to be 3rd down and 5.
You'll hear a lot of audible here in NFL Europe, and you'd figure with such a short period of time, how do you get all that in? Well, you have to do that because you have to make changes. Like we said just a while ago, you heard easy. 11, wide 11 means we want you to be stiff up the middle. We're going to try to get the ball downfield, but on a short 3-step drop.
Where you at, Rick? Right over here.
And talking of hearing things, you'll be hearing plenty from some of these players and coaches during the course of this game. They're showing blitz, Scotland, but they don't come, and instead they get a man, Robbie Snelling. Well, they caught him there. Snelling got himself wide open. The guy who went into camp as the 3rd White tight end and got cut, but then Brandon Christensen got hurt. And so too did Damian Vaughan, and they said, Robbie, would you like to come back and play for us? And the man allocated here from Tennessee said, yes, please, and now he's grabbing his opportunity as well.
If you don't believe there's competition out here, you're crazy. You got Snelling from Tennessee. You've got Carson from Tennessee on the other side of the ball. They want to be able to show these coaches that they belong on the team.
1st down. Homer cuts inside, will pick up another 6 yards. Derek Homer will go back to Baltimore. We talked about Herbert Goodman and his situation at Green Bay. Well, you think there's an opportunity for running backs in Baltimore at the moment, wouldn't you? The way things have been shaping up there.
Yeah, that team, because of the injury last year to Anderson, and I think he may be in stage 1 of the substance abuse policy, so to leave things wide open for a guy going back there to just be able to fit in at some point.
Not much doing there, but you think what the situation is in Baltimore. They just got rid of Jason Brookins, who really kind of shouldered the load for them last season. As you say, injury is definitely the story there when Jamal Lewis went down, and it's not exactly the most stellar group of names that Brian Billick's got to work with there. I mean, Homer's got every opportunity.
He's up there in Barcelona, in Sitges. Every night he's on the website, the team website, checking to see if anyone's gone down. He's like he's looking at the mass unit to see, okay, have my chances gotten any better? He loves his opportunity, loves his chances.
3rd down. White goes upstairs for Flowers.
Intenso!
What a play, what a catch from Intenso.
That catch was all about attitude, because he had just as much an opportunity, the defender had just as much an opportunity to get that ball as Flowers did. Flowers comes away with the ball. I'm telling you, this game is about attitude and preparation. This guy, and he embodies both. We talked about him before, and this kind of guy is weird. You have a production meeting, you talk to kids, and then they make you look good by making plays like that.
Terrific catch, one-on-one with Hurley Tarver. And on comes Jesus Angoy, the former Barcelona soccer goalkeeper, the league's all-time leading point scorer. You want to talk about George Blanda, or I guess we should say Gary Anderson these days. And Angoy tacks it on. And an impressive response from the Dragons. And we're inside the final minute here of the 1st quarter. We're tied up at 7 points apiece. The biggest smile in the place is on the face of Richmond Flowers, the man who was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars, then released, then went on to the Dallas Cowboys practice squad. He's just saying there he is, Intenso. Marco Martos gave him that nickname. He's given a lot of people nicknames, Marco, over the years. Intenso kind of fits this fella, though. It
fits both of them. That's why he probably took it from himself and gave it away.
Very shallow kick. So the Claymores will get good field position after that kick. Let's take another look at this touchdown.
Yeah, you're going to see the 80 route here, real right there, and a fade route up the sideline. And then you're going to see what I'm talking about, the attitude. They're battling for the ball, battling for the ball, battling for the ball, but who comes down with it? Who comes down with our man Flowers? Now, the best thing about him is that when you're looking to fill out your team, you're talking about attitude guys and guys that you want to have other guys look at in terms of the character of your football team. A kid like this fits the bill because as the rosters get smaller, you're talking about how do you fill out salary cap, a guy like this fits your football team. I think Dallas is going to be very pleased with Flowers.
Brown on first down, play action, and he dumps it off over the middle. And it's first down yardage and an awful lot more for Stevon Fontana, the big guy, the backup tight end. And you want an attitude, this guy's got it in bunches as well.
And you talk to Fontana, you know, Scotland has their catching tight end. And Fontana takes, you know, he doesn't like the fact that he's supposed to be there blocking tight end. So given an opportunity to catch the football and having an opportunity to run out of bounds, you didn't see him go out of bounds. That guy took it right back into the field and tried to run somebody over because he wants people to know that he can catch the ball.
And that was the last act of the first quarter. It was Goodman first. It was Flowers that responded. That's why we're tied up at 7 apiece. Back here in Barcelona, Nick Halling with Sean Jones, Jack Bicknell pacing the sidelines. He's been here since 1991. There were stories that Jack was going to retire at the end of this season, but he put those to bed this week. He said, I'm coming back next year. And those of us that cover this league, Jack, are pretty happy about that, aren't we, Sean?
Yeah, love Jack Bicknell. I mean, he's what this league is all about.
A World Bowl winner in 1997, and he's taken the Dragons to 4 World Bowls in total.
Let's check in with Rich Baldinger and Aaron Collins for the opening kickoff, Frankfurt and Berlin.
Donald back deep. For the Galaxy, he's a good one. And we're on. Ball's going to sail out of the end zone. A strong kick by Danny Boyd. And the Galaxy will begin on their own 20-yard
Okay, let's get back to our game with Nick and Sean.
From McKenzie.
Man, my goodness, where has Brown been the entire season? You're looking at this, and like I said, you are not going to convince me that just because this is the last game of the season, we know that guys have so much on the line. Brown just looking right down the barrel, delivering the ball to a wide open man. McKenzie doing a very good job of evading every oncoming Barcelona Dragon. And that's what we're talking about this league. Guys don't quit. There's no reason to quit. We still have to impress them. We still have to show people what we can do out here. But Brown, you have to be impressed by the way he's executing thus far. We've got a man down.
Yeah, that's Samir Hammoudi, the Frenchman, having his right knee attended to. He was definitely banged into by his own man. He's the trash talker on the team, this fella from France, but he can back it up as well. He's got 9 interceptions in the last 3 years. And he's been going on to his team about how France are going to win the World Cup. And a lot of his teammates were pretty happy when France crashed out of the World Cup this week. But he is tough, and he's walking back under his own steam. And the man they call Smack Hammoudi will be back sooner rather than later, you suspect.
He's tough, and he's got a great attitude. You're going to see him here right in the middle of the screen. Just looks like he gets twisted up a little bit. No, yeah, man does roll up on the back. More rolls up on the back of his leg.
Well, the first down play produced negative yardage for the Scottish Claymores as Hammoudi continues to try and walk this one off. And I think anybody who thought, oh, these two teams will just be enjoying a little light workout in the sun, I mean, after 1 quarter of play, we've already seen that is simply not the case today, Sean. There's too much at stake for these players.
Can't be the case because, you know, that's why they send them over here. That's why they play these games, to make sure that you're ready to go when your training camp starts.
I formation. Play action. Brown rolls incomplete. Looking for Carson once again. Terrific defensive play from Jason Moore, the safety man who broke it up.
You come over here, you watch tape on guys, and you're trying to find out, okay, where are the flaws? Why are these guys here? Do they belong here? You have guys that are allocated. You have guys that are free agents. Well, the kid you just saw, Moore, is a free agent kid that's over here, and I'll beg to say he's probably the best. In fact, he is the best defensive player they have on this football team, a free agent player looking for a job after the season's over. But when he's on the field, I guarantee you there'll be a collision. Absolutely.
Well, will there be a collision here on 3rd down and goal? McKenzie is the motion man. Brown will look to throw once again. He's got a man. Touchdown. Stevon Fontana. The Claymores are back in front. And Fontana picks up his 2nd touchdown of the season.
Blocking tight end block this.
Yeah, you talk about Intenso. This fella's nickname is Fontanimal, but it could be Mr. Intense himself in Scotland. He'll fight you as long as there's a play left.
You know, with Wycheck there in Tennessee, I'm trying to figure out how many tight ends do they need, but they've got a few good ones on the field here today.
So here's Rob Hart once again to restore the Claymores 7-point advantage. He hasn't missed a kick all year, Rob Hart, which is a pretty phenomenal record in itself, and he keeps that record intact. And you know that Fontana is saying, get me the ball, I can do this all day long. Give me the ball again.
Why was this play so successful? You're going to see it right here. Here's Fontana here. He's going to do it all by himself, setting it up here and coming back. It's really the sister play, three-step drop to the play that they scored on previously. There's a setup, wide open, man over, just overplayed him, bit on it. We call that a fish, Nick.
James Brown's first touchdown pass of the year was reeled in by Stevon Fontana with his second. And James Brown, you said it earlier, where's this guy been all season? He's only had a couple of little cameo roles as Gene Dahlquist has really kept the faith with Scott Dreisbach. But Brown showing he can do some things here.
Yeah, and what you like to do is when you give a guy an opportunity, you talk about people getting their chances, well, what do you do with it when you get it? Brown, so far, has executed well, made very good decisions with the football in terms of when to tuck it and when to throw it away. Had one bad pass that I would call a bad pass, but you have to be pleased with what you've seen so far in Brown.
And what we haven't seen from him today is his ability to take off and run himself. And in this heat, that defense chasing a mobile quarterback, that would be a draining experience indeed. Although part of this stadium is now shaded, as you can see. Marco Martos, the return man, has just managed to step into the shade. He's leaving Derek Homer to boil out there. It is a bit breezy, which is why Hurley Tarver is hanging on to that, and that ball is just dying in the breeze as well. And here's Martos fielding at the 25-yard line and dancing around and cutting to the outside and getting to the 38 before Hurley Tarver flattened him. Well, they responded once. What do they do now? With a change of quarterback we are expecting. We'd heard that Mike Watkins from the Carolina Panthers would be given the second quarter. Another guy that's kind of sat back and basically, and there he is. He was the third-string quarterback here. He's only seen action in a couple of games, including the season opener against the Scottish Claymores when he threw an interception in garbage time. But good to see Jack Bicknell giving this guy a chance as well.
And watch the play calling here. He'll do things small, you know, just little things to build that confidence up. Watch his play call. Oh.
On first down, Carl Fair will get the carry, and Fair almost turned the corner there. Just a little ankle tap from Scott Shields. Carl Fair, by the way, leads NFL Europe with his average per carry 6.8 yards. That's pretty freakish at this level.
Yeah, he toted one last week against Amsterdam, but the monkey kind of jumped on his back. I was kidding him a little bit, you know. He got to about the 20. It was like someone just slapped him. He almost didn't make it to the end zone. I said, looked like he was pulling everything. He said, I hadn't been that wide open in such a long time. I didn't know what to do.
Allocated here from the Cleveland Browns. And he's got an interesting situation when he gets home as well. Watkins will go once again on the ground, and Carl Fair is going absolutely nowhere. Cedric Pittman said, forget that. Yeah, Cleveland continue to look for talent. James Jackson, you think, might have established himself, but there's opportunities there for Fair.
You know, William Green being their #1 pick this year. Jackson, they kind of lukewarm with the injury last year also.
Yeah.
Fair fits right in. You keep 4 running backs. You have a very good chance of keeping 4 running backs and a fullback, so you should have a good opportunity there.
5-yard loss after the tackle from Pittman, who's quietly had a pretty decent second half of the season as well for Scotland. Will force a passing situation for Watkins, and he can't find Fair. The pressure was coming from Devontae Peterson, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 15.
And you'll hear me say time and time again about guys having a very good opportunity. A very good opportunity. You're like, why do they keep saying a very good opportunity? You know what? In this league, all you want is an opportunity because it's so tough now to even get in the league. I mean, you go to most teams have 80 people on their rosters now. They get an exemption from these NFL Europe players. So you're just fighting to be able to stay on the roster long enough so you can make the cuts.
3rd down and 15. Watkins is flushed out. He's still looking, and now he uncorks one, and it's incomplete. Scott Shields was there to break it up again. He was looking for Carl Fair, an opportunity you think would knock for Scott Shields, allocated here from the Miami Dolphins. And most people that have seen him play will say he is going to be with the Miami Dolphins next season.
Yeah, came out, Pittsburgh his first year, did very well there, and then something happened. Still haven't figured out exactly what happened there in Pittsburgh, but he's not there anymore. But he is a modern-day Jim Thorpe. I mean, he can run, kick, pass, plays baseball, shuffles cards if you need to. I mean, guy does everything, you know, and I think he sticks at Miami because he's so aggressive. You cannot teach aggressiveness in the NFL.
LaFleur gets away. A kick that Moses is going to watch sail straight into the end zone. So that'll be a touchback, and the Claymores will take over from their own 20-yard line. So let's just remind ourselves, if you're new to this NFL Europe business, it is the NFL with 1 or 2 little differences. 4 points for a field goal of 50 yards or more. And Sean's favorite, the 35-second
This is where I play commissioner. Don't 4 points. I hate kickers as it is. Why do we need to give them 4 points? Get rid of the 4 points. But 35-second clock, love 35-second clock, because if I'm a fan, I like offense. Get in and out of your huddle, get the ball up the field. Game clock starts after an incomplete pass. Don't like that. You know what? Makes the games too short. If you're Barcelona, you're loving the beach, loving everything. Hey,
what's your problem with the kickers?
Oh, this is what's wrong with kickers. He drives a 600, a Mercedes 600. How? He's a kicker.
So you're saying kickers are smart? That's what I'm saying. First down. Brown trying to be smart here. Gets Scott McCready. And if you're wondering why Scott McCready met President Bush, we saw that photograph earlier. It's because he is a member of the New England Patriots. He was on the practice squad of that team that won the Super Bowl in New Orleans back in January. And he wants to go back and be the first Englishman to make it in the NFL that isn't a kicker.
You have to say world champion New England Patriots. Doesn't even sound right. Patriots champions? Oh, no. I went to school up in Boston. It doesn't even sound right. But that's how you have to affectionately refer to them. We carried that as a Green Bay Packers for months after we won the Super Bowl. I think they're still playing it.
93 weeks.
First down at the 38-yard line. Here's Goodman. Flag comes in. Goodman sees the flag. Here's the whistles.
And in Berlin, just a couple of minutes ago, Anthony White in for the touchdown. The Thunder lead Frankfurt 7-0. 7 minutes to play in the first quarter. Berlin in the lead.
Number 77, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, now on the big right tackle. Don't offensive linemen hate having their numbers called because it's always bad.
It's unfortunate, but that's how they roll. But I'm telling you about Goodman on that last play. I know it was a nothing play, but Goodman his vision is getting so much better. That is a cut that he does not make earlier in the season. That play was a front side play. In other words, it was meant to go the way he started. He saw the hole in the backside, was able to cut it back.
And here he is again, doing those things that you said he's got to do when he gets back to Green Bay. He's been there 2 years. He was kind of surprised when they allocated him. In fact, he was a bit annoyed about it, I think, if we're honest. But that's his situation going back home.
You look at Amon Green, Kajana Carter, Rondell Mealy, Jason Brookins. A lot of those guys are the same guy. Take Green out of there, and he's the only sure thing on that football team. Goodman has a nice opportunity up there. Why? Because he's been there before, knows the system, and should have a leg up. Having, we talked to so many players about coming here and what do you take back? They said, we've been playing football for such a long time, we're ready to go when we get there.
Dorsey Levens, of course, released by Green Bay, so there are opportunities. Brown goes downtown for Dondre Gilliam, the deep threat. And that ball sails out of bounds in the wind. Looked like the breeze caught it despite the heat and the sun. It is a little bit breezy, as we found when we did our little opener up high up here. It's a good job.
You know what? I tell you what. And I know my producer, my director, they're going to kill me right now, but I don't care. Because you fans don't realize how high up we were to give you guys that shot. And one of us is afraid of heights.
And the other one's not too happy either.
Anything for the people at Fox. We go anywhere.
There was a 100-feet drop about 3 feet away from where I was standing. And I was cursing quietly as well. Here's Brown from the shotgun. On third down, Kwame Cavill can't bring it in. So you're afraid of heights, are you, Sean? I mean, you always struck me as a pretty tough, mean kind of guy. But everyone's got their weakness. We should get you on that clock. We should put you on the top of that. There's a few other places I can think of we could put you as well.
You know what? I've actually done this. Did the Eiffel Tower. Will never do that. Nah, don't have enough money to go to Mars. So, but these guys just sent us. They just sent us anyway. That's how I felt.
Suffering from vertigo. Here's Aaron Langley. He's suffering from a bit of something here. He's got to do a terrific job of scrambling, basically. And then getting his kick away, and what could have been a disaster. The ball is down at the 38-yard line. They've had a couple blocked. We've got a flag, I think, floating around on the field there as well. We've got a bit of everything going on down there. They've had 2 blocked this year. That was nearly number 3, and it was through no fault of Langley's. And we're going to have another one of those conferences. Goes against Scotland. I think you blew that play. Everyone was looking up at the big screen and seeing that vertigo stuff going on. And
hey, man, when it hits you, all you can do is just go for the ride. Talking about being able to make a living at specialties. Long snappers, you are golden. If you can long snap at any level, you're going to play. Yeah. You're going to play. I mean, guys I played with, Dale
downfield, 53 of the kicking team. That penalty is declined. First down.
Yeah, like we said, Dale Helstrade, who's done some work with Fox, and a guy I played with, Trey Junkin, played like forever. Just being able to snap the football.
Trevor Maddich, he was another long snapper as well, wasn't he?
Yes. You worked a lot with Trevor.
I seem to work with all the long snappers. Long snappers and defensive ends.
I long snapped in college.
Were you any good?
I don't like getting hit in the head. It's not a fun thing.
First down for Mike Watkins. Play action. And Watkins goes downtown for Flowers.
Oh!
Brought it in.
My goodness!
Touchdown, Barcelona!
Gotta love it. Wow. Where's Mike Watkins been all season?
They got James Ruth's one-on-one. They had Hurley Tarver one-on-one for the previous one. The result is the same. Touchdown, Barcelona. 6 points, Richmond Flowers. 61 yards.
My goodness. And I know we will replay this, and you will see some things that you just would hope that when a guy is sitting on the sideline, he's just sucking it all in. Watkins does a good job of just watching the play develop and then making a play when given the opportunity. And then Flowers does a great job of pulling that ball in.
Well, that's his second touchdown catch of the day. It's Mike Watkins' first touchdown pass of the season, and these Dragons are fired up.
Intenso! You're going to see Intenso right here. Big enough circle. Yeah, big guy, though. Going to come down. But what makes this play right here is the option right here. Sucks the safety up, and there's no one in the middle of the field to cover Flowers. And then it's all Intenso after they're hauling the ball in. Let the crowd speak for it. Just tremendous attitude getting into the end zone. We've talked about him so far. Makes everybody in the studio look good, make everyone in the booth look good. Because when you have a guy with this kind of attitude, hey, nothing but good thing happens for him.
Terrific kickoff from Vitaly Pizetsky, who is a kickoff specialist that the Miami Dolphins are hoping will develop. And Richmond Flowers, whose father played in the NFL, is certainly having quite a game today. His Intenso level, 100%. I'm not going to argue with that. In fact, if you can get over 100%, he's probably on that as well.
Oh, my goodness.
But should we give away his secret? He was not Intenso yesterday. We saw him doing a bit of sunbathing on the beach at Seychelles, didn't we? Actually, we saw a lot of Dragons sunbathing on the beach.
Exactly. They had the day off. Get the day off before the game. Jack McNell says, you know what, I've coached the same way my entire life. And when we win everything, it's because I've got a great system. You know what? When we're not playing very well, it's because I've got the same system.
Yeah. Jack knows what he's doing. First down, Brown, play action. Rolls out to his left. We haven't seen him take off yet, and we still haven't. Stefan Fontana crunches his way for another 12 yards. I think that was Dempsey Deese on the stop, who is 5'10" and 170 pounds against 6'5", 250 pounds Stefan Fontana.
You see, this is a bad sign when you're buckling your head strap after a hit.
This is Sitges, which is about 20 miles south of Barcelona. It's home for the Barcelona Dragons for 3 months of the year, and it was on that beach that Richmond Flowers was getting intense yesterday afternoon, an intense suntan.
Well, that's what it was. You see, a little shade came in and it just made him mad.
Yeah.
Mad at the sun.
I could stay there forever, I think. First down. Here's Brown getting pursued. And he gets it off to the other tight end, Elliot Carson, who will pick up 3, maybe 4 yards. Renard Cox on the stop, make that 2nd down and 6.
What about the jinx? Normally when, you have the play-by-play guy and the analyst talking about a guy so much before the game starts, they don't play well. This kid is doing that. He's making us look good.
Yeah. Well, he's been catching a ball since he could basically walk, Richmond Flowers. His father played for a couple of teams, played for the Jets, I believe, the Giants. Yeah, by the way, I'm the analyst with the sleeves rolled up. By the way, it's too hot for me.
Oh, man.
I was wearing my England T-shirt earlier, but the less said about that, the better. Here's Goodman. Falling forward for
that is the
first down
first
yardage.
thing you've said about England, and we agree on. The less said about that, the better. Did they win today, by the way?
3-0. Where were you when England were winning 3-0 in the World Cup
I was
against Denmark?
probably
What are you
asleep
doing?
like the rest of the world. My goodness, you guys get so excited about it. Did you guys qualify?
We're into the last 8 now. Yeah.
Okay, so that means
got a lot
you're
to learn.
a final seed. That means you probably get like Brazil or something.
We got Brazil next.
So it's over.
Yeah. By the way, people might think you're an American, but you have other
I'm
interests.
Jamaican, I am,
Jamaican.
but that's the whole thing, though. We don't like the Brits.
And you know nothing about cricket either.
I know a little bit, just a little bit. It's a little bit.
First down. Nothing doing there for Herbert Goodman, who knows enough that he was tackled for a loss. That was Matt Leo on the stop, the man allocated here from the New York Giants.
Yeah, got a chance to talk to Matt during practice, and he's a little undersized, so he was concerned about the fact that could he play defensive end in the NFL at 255. I said, Matt, yeah, you need just a little bit more weight, just a little bit. He said, but I'm eating, I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm like, hey, man, you got to pick it up just a little bit. Start piling the meals on a little bit. But he's allocated by the Giants.
2nd down. Brown finds Goodman, who finds a whole bunch of trouble immediately. Renard Cox on the stop. Yeah, you got to eat, you big guys, haven't you? You got to.
No, you have to, because the more and more that you're working out and you're burning up calories, you have to try to just keep the weight on it.
And we've got an injury in Berlin, but Frankfurt on a pass to Jimmy Redmond have just gone down to the Berlin 1-yard line. They're on the doorstep, getting ready to tie the game up at 7. And let's get back to the Claymores. Calvin Branch, the player injured.
Have got to try.
See, if I got a stomach like that, and I keep my shirt buttoned up.
He is not proud.
Oh dear.
That's another tummy.
Yeah, that is. That's
tummy.
McAllister Collins from the Steelers. One of those offensive linemen, they're allowed to have them.
That's the third. That's the third of the third triplet of the that thing. The whole Big Her, Big Love.
That's right.
And Big Mac. That's the third of the third.
That's 3 of the offensive line.
You're not one of 3. You're the third of the third. So that's Big Mac, and that was Big Mac's tummy. I'm glad we've got a nice ball game here, and like we said, you can ill afford to be in NFL Europe and think you've got a day off, because with teams already set with 80 people in their roster, you're still there'll be guys that'll be released before even camp gets started.
Well, a big problem offensively for the Claymores here. 3rd down and long. Brown will go from the shotgun. And he looks for McKenzie, and it's picked off. Dempsey Deese. His first pick of the year. Timely one for Barcelona.
And Brown made his first mistake of the day, and where he just got a little bit too cocky, just a little too confident, and try to put a ball where, you know, there are very few quarterbacks that could make that throw. But when you have a little success, you think you can make any throw. And that time he could not make that throw because that ball had to be thrown above or beyond where he threw that ball. He threw it short.
So it's first down, Barcelona. Mike Watkins gets another opportunity. Last time, a long touchdown. This time, the handoff to Carl Fair. Nothing doing. Junior Robinson on the stop, a loss of 2 yards.
Yeah, they come with trips at the top here, and all this route does is just makes the defense have to make a decision. But if this ball is underthrown, you can't underthrow the ball when you have 3 receivers bunched running in the same area. You're going to draw a crowd, and that's exactly what happened. You have to throw that ball long. You have to use your 3-iron. You can't use the wedge.
Got one for you.
They're in the last minute of the first quarter in Berlin. Frankfurt's got the ball on the 1-yard line, 1st and goal. Let's go over to the commentators, Eric Collins and Matt Baldinger.
First down and goal inside the 1-yard line. Curtis Alexander swallowed up. Great defensive charge by that front 4.
Alexander stopped. Meanwhile, Mike Watkins is scrambling in Barcelona.
Hey, translation, I know the rules. You can't hit me, so I've learned.
An injury to Reggie Nelson, the big tackle on the field, the free agent. And he hasn't moved a whole lot since that play, Sean, which is never good. You see those big guys go down like that and they don't move around.
And again, another shot for the Galaxy. And they've got the score.
Marcus Williams, touchdown, and Frankfurt on the board after an impressive drive.
It was an impressive drive. It's an excellent job by the quarterback, Bart Hendricks, standing in the pocket, finding his receiver. Excellent pickup on the stump by the offensive line in the middle. But Bart Hendricks showing, hey, this is what they want to do. Some short passes, build his confidence. And I'll tell you what, he's looking like a whole different quarterback right now.
It's very early in this contest, but I'm sure that some people on that Frankfurt sideline believe that that was really the drive of the game. If they don't have an impressive drive there, they may be dead in the water. Ola Kimrin knocks the extra point home, and just like that, we're all tied up at 7 apiece. Now, Richard, something we definitely need to talk about. It's a 7-7 tie, but for all intents and purposes, the Frankfurt Galaxy are winning the game.
Yes, they are right now. The confidence. What I liked about Bart Hendricks, he came right back in the pocket. They had a couple penalties. They didn't let him stop him. Watched him set up in the pocket. Again, he has excellent technique. And what did they work on in practice? Having him stand back in the pocket. Don't stand up too soon. He finds his tight end number 89, Marcus Williams. And so far, he's showing me the confidence, the understanding what's going on out there in the field. You know, that's one of the things he commented to us about. Standing on the sideline, getting mental reps is not like live action. Right now, he looks...
And remember, because Frankfurt won the first game of the season series by 3 points, Berlin has to beat Frankfurt by more than 3. Let's get back to Barcelona.
Third down and 3. Watkins gets some pressure and can't quite get his man. Robbie Snelling had it, dropped it, picked it up again, and the officials saw it hit the floor.
And Snelling will look at the film and watch the tape and watch the broadcast and say, man, I've got to hold on to that ball, because that ball was right in his bread basket. If you're Watkins, you're like, please make me look good. You know, if I throw you an easy one, just hold on to it. Get my quarterback rating up.
Reggie getting some attention. Reggie Nelson. J.J. Moses is back. Wasn't able to get anything on the last punt from Bill LaFleur. It just boomed into the end zone.
Yeah, Moses is exciting. Still has the longest punt return of the season in NFL Europe.
Can't do a lot there. Nice one from LaFleur, goes out at the 10-yard line. Well, I mentioned that we're going to be hearing from a lot of these players and coaches. That's because we've got microphones on a whole bunch of them. We've put a microphone on James Brown, of course, as he's the starting quarterback. He's wearing one. So too is Gene Dahlquist. And for the Dragons, it's Joe Germain, who's yet to get in the game, and Ted White and head coach Jack Bicknell.
Well, how they plan to use the other quarterbacks at Barcelona, anyhow, Watkins, we saw Ted White early. Watkins at the second quarter. Jermaine will come out in the third quarter, and then he and White will share the fourth quarter. So it'll be a nice mix where everyone will get an opportunity to play.
So here's James Brown, intercepted last time out. What can we find this time? Goodman looks to spin around the corner, and he's strung out all the way. Jason Moore, who you mentioned earlier, he's been active with 3 teams in the NFL as well. Denver in '99, Green Bay, San Francisco in 2000. Didn't play, sat out 2001. And he's another guy that's a free agent. I'm sure a lot of NFL teams are taking a look at what he's done here these last 3 months.
And he's done a lot. He's done a lot over here to improve his chances with an NFL team. What I like about him is, 1, aggressiveness. 2, he has a good knack for knowing where to fill in on plays. In other words, he takes chances, but they're good chances, educated guesses in terms of getting through and making plays.
No gain from Goodman, so that's 2nd down and 10. And here they go again, and Goodman finds a huge hole right up the middle and bursts his way for 15 yards before he's stopped by Tharn Merrill. It's 1st down, Scotland.
And all of a sudden, it just seems like, you know, when you look at what Goodman has been able to do over the last 2-3 weeks, they've found their running game. And Goodman is a guy, like I said before, he just seems to lumber, but recently he's been just making the right cut and just putting his head down and just making power plays. Not just a guy just willing to just tote it up the middle, but also make power plays. In other words, deliver some kind of impact when deliver an impact when, you know, he gets hit by a defender.
And we are at the 2-minute warning here in Barcelona. These 2 teams locked together at 14 points apiece. Time for us to take a short break. Back in just a moment. Welcome back to Barcelona. The FC Barcelona Dragons and the Scottish Claymores 14 points apiece. It's defense on the field at the moment for Barcelona. But you know, somewhere just alongside us, Sean, the offensive guru of the Barcelona Dragons is Sam Rutigliano, the former Cleveland Browns head coach. And he'll no doubt be plotting. There he is. There's Sam. Very, very popular guy here. And he gets impersonated a lot by some of his players. I don't know if you knew that, Sean, but he's one of those guys that he's easy to impersonate. Some people have been taking liberties.
I didn't know what happened to Sam. I thought he was in the witness protection plan or something.
1st down doesn't get him much. It'll be 2nd down and 8 after the play to Carson, and a bit more pushing and shoving.
I like it.
Yeah.
I coach in this league 27 years. Not once. Not even once. I coach a guy that runs any better than a 4.7. I coach 4.3s all the time. But you know what? They stick their thumbs in the ball. I coach Lawrence Sill. That's why he's selling insurance.
I tell you, it is lucky for Richmond Flowers. This is the end of the season as the pass is completed to Dontre Gilliam. That is what Sam sounds like. He sounds like that.
But it's all true.
It is.
That's what makes it so bad. Sam is a heck of a coach, boy.
They spike the ball to stop the clock with 1:13 left in the 1st half. I wonder if Sam knows about that. Richmond better get a job. Oh, yeah, Sam's coming down to have a word. Richmond, but you better start running. You're in trouble.
Oh.
Here it comes. Yeah. No. That was walking with a sense of purpose if ever I saw it.
There are no egos in that Barcelona offense, though. That offensive coaching staff, I believe, is still the best in NFL Europe.
2nd down. Brown from the shotgun. Has a wide open Dontre Gilliam, who just skips out of bounds at midfield. Still 1:09 left in this 1st half. So let's see if we can listen to James Brown.
Gun double left, check jet Willie. On the quick, ready?
Gun double left, jet Willie. Shotgun, taking it up the field, boys. All 4 receivers taking it up the field.
And there they go. And Brown looks, can't find anybody. Now he puts it over the middle to McCready, who'll pick up another 15 yards. Randy Chevrier, another long snapping specialist with the stop, but they're in hurry-up mode now inside the final minute of the 1st half here in Barcelona, and Brown showing good clock management just to spike the ball. They've struggled with clock management this season. Consistently, the Claymores have blown a lot of opportunities.
Yep. Blew one last week. Snap. They just snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. But last play, you saw McCready. McCready, they call jet. That means all 4 receivers are jetting, taking it up the field. McCready does a nice job in getting that ball because he changes his route. The upfield wasn't there. He comes back underneath and makes a nice reception. And that's what we want to see from NFL. Your guys learning and understanding the difference between zone routes and man routes. Nice progression right there.
Still out of field goal range. They need a few more yards. Brown will get it here with the pass to Kwame Cavell, and Renard Cox slipped, and that's why Cavell managed to get all the way to the 6-yard line. Jason Moore eventually pushed him out. 44 seconds left, and the perspective just changed for the Claymores. They're not thinking field goal anymore.
And in that sequence, you see what Kwame Cavell does very well. He's a great possession receiver, big body guy, and has nice hands. And what has plagued him, the speed. People have questioned his speed. A guy that's more like a high 4.6, 4.7 guy, and that has given them trouble in the league. But I will say this, I've seen a bunch of fast guys that couldn't catch a cold in the dead of night. I'd rather have a guy that is dependable and can catch balls for you. If you have good hands in this league, it gives you an opportunity. A bunch of fast guys, they can't catch a thing. So he's got a chance.
Let's go. And he turned that into a 28-yard gain as well.
Black, draw 3.
What can Brown do with these last 44 seconds? First down, Scotland at the 6. They give it to Goodman, and Goodman blasts his way in. Touchdown, Scotland. Richmond Flowers might have 2 touchdowns, so too has Herbert Goodman. And it was all on the back of that big play from James Brown to Kwame Cavell.
Well, so many things that epitomize Barcelona's defensive season happened on that play. You're talking about guys not being technique pure, running through, trying to make plays, not making the right plays, not hitting people in the V of the neck, not creating a new line of scrimmage. When you have a breakdown like that, you can't just blame it on one person. It's the entire defense just not playing very well. Unfortunately, that's plagued Barcelona all season.
Rob Hart, I know you don't like kickers, but that is 31 consecutive kicks made. Either field goals or extra points. The Cheddarheads are happy. The Claymores will be happy. And I would think Herbert Goodman will be pretty happy.
Yeah, you're going to see a whole bunch of bad things right here. A bad play right there. Okay, jumping inside, and then the C just parts. And I tell you what, I've been bragging on Goodman how well he's been running. But Nick, even with your knock knee, you could have made that play.
Nah.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
You could have made that. And your knees do knock a little bit, Nick. I saw you on the beach the other day. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You got bad feet, Nick.
I know. I always did have bad feet. It's a good job you're not 6 inches taller. I'd give you a slap for that, Sean, I tell you. Hey, who's this next to you, Sean? Who's this?
That's my runner.
Hey, there you go.
You're not supposed to be here. You're not in the union. Get out of here.
That's one of Sean's kids, by the way. He's the one that got the good looks in the family. Good job someone did, because Sean didn't.
What are you doing up here? Out. Get out of here.
Hey, he'll take over from you in a second.
Cut us off. He was directing earlier. He was producing. He's that guy.
In fact, we don't need to be here, Sean.
He's that guy. Oh, my goodness. That is a line that our producer, Fran, has made famous. That guy. He's that guy.
Ty Wise getting his rare opportunity to advance the ball.
Ty Wise is a man, though. He's also the backup tight end.
Yeah.
Look at that body.
And these guys, they never touch the ball. I'm pretty sure that's his first touch of the season. And anytime these guys get their hands on the ball, it's like, yeah, I want to be the superstar. I want to be Herbert Goodman.
I want to clear something up. Not that, when I say look at that body, I just, you know what I mean.
You comparing him with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's...
I'm going to leave you alone.
Yes.
I'm going to leave you alone. You know what? You're on a high today. England won.
England
yes,
won.
Yes, go Brit.
You can't touch me, Sean. There's nothing you can do. Now, here's Carl Fair trying to make some impact. And still bouncing around there, and eventually the whistle comes. They will give Fair 8 yards. I think you can say Todd Franz was the guy that made the stop. 24 seconds left. Timeout called by Barcelona. Watkins, I think, will look back on this quarter of play and say, hey, I did myself no harm here.
He did no harm whatsoever. Both of these quarterbacks, both he and Brown, came in and at least, if nothing else, they showed and which is the hardest position to be in. When you talk about showing something, the hardest position to be in, everyone will tell you, being a backup quarterback on any football team at any level, because when you're called, you have to be able to respond, and you have to be able to be in the flow of the game and understand what everyone else was doing around you before you came in. And it's just a hard position to be in. Now take that, multiply that by 9 weeks, and that's what Watkins has been going through. And comes out here today and has done nothing to embarrass himself. Should be very pleased.
And has a touchdown to his name as well, of course. 2nd down and 2. He wants another touchdown. He manages to avoid the rush, finds Carl Fair, and Fair is corralled after a 6-yard gain. Tony Ortiz on the stop. A timeout called again with 12 seconds remaining in the first half.
So you've got to understand what Watkins is dealing with out there. You know, the league has gone to this communication by walkie-talkie. That means they equip the quarterback's helmets with walkie-talkies so the coach can communicate with the quarterback on the field. But one goes to the starting quarterback.
He's the play-by-play guy for the second half.
Play-by-play guy for the second half. Yeah. And then the other walkie-talkie goes to the second-string quarterback. Well, Watkins is the third-string quarterback. He has no walkie-talkie. And so, I don't know where we're cutting to.
She's Sam Rutigliano.
Yeah, that's
for the second half. Sam's looking. Yeah, look.
She's not afraid of heights.
No vertigo there. A little girl showing you the way, Sean. First down. Can Watkins show the Dragons the way to the end zone? Nothing doing. He steps out of bounds to stop the clock. 7 seconds remaining. Big Riddell Lockhart was chasing him. Riddell was never going to get him, but Watkins could not get anybody open downfield. The coverage was sound. So 2nd down and 5. You can make it with 9 seconds left.
And Scotland gives him a 3-man front, so that means that there'll be more defenders in the defensive backfield to defend against the pass.
Watkins doesn't find a good throw on that occasion, looking for Daniel Guy, who's making his first start of the season because of all the injuries. Deronnie Pitts is out with a knee injury. Corey Ivy out with a shoulder injury. They really have been hit amongst the receivers. Now, I suspect this might be Watkins' last act as a Barcelona Dragon coming up right here.
Yeah, and I bring that up, the 3-man lineup, because when you're a young quarterback and you're looking back then, we always talk about how fast the game is. But when you see now 8 defenders back there, you have to be right when you throw the ball.
Watkins goes sideline again. It's exactly the same play, exactly the same result. And that is not perhaps the best way to finish the half. There's still enough time for him to get one more play off. But that's a
He'll get one more because, I haven't played. You played 13 years and you're watching a game Monday night. Not like anybody else. You watch a game on Monday night. And the thing you always say, okay, it's 3rd and 7. Why the 3-yard route? Why the 3-yard route? So now I'm Joe Fan doing a game. Same question. Please give me a longer route.
Well,
no other chance.
This is a 58-yard field goal attempt from Vitaly Pizetsky from the Miami Dolphins, who's not as Russian as he sounds, by the way, because he came up and spoke to me and asked me about the World Cup results earlier today. But they're making Pizetsky sit and sweat on this one.
Now, we talked about competing in this league, Nick. We talked about this from the beginning of the game, how these guys were going to compete and make sure that we had some kind of football game. What better way to prove that than to freeze a guy out in a game that means absolutely nothing 3 seconds before the half? When you try to freeze the kicker out.
Ray Woodard there. Sam Rutigliano, by the way, is on the sidelines.
Ray's competitive. He's going to compete till the very end.
Yeah. There's Sam. Talk about a competitor. He's still looking for Richmond Flowers. And this, by the way, will go in the record books, I believe, as the longest field goal in NFL Europe history if the man from the Miami Dolphins can nail it. It's on its way. What a kick! Oh, it had the distance. It just drifted wide. A great effort from Pizetsky. But it falls short. And we are at the half with the Scottish Claymores leading what's been a very competitive game, 21-14. We're going to take a short break now. It's the Scottish Claymores up by 7.
Usyk to throw. Christian can't make the catch. Oh, they're going to throw a flag, and this might be on Chris Cummings.
Yeah, it is. He came over the top. He had his backside in, and there's no one better in the league inside the 5-yard line than Berlin when they're throwing this short passing game. Todd Usyk does an excellent job of finding his receivers. We listen to the call.
Touchdown, Berlin.
Taking a look at the outside receivers, Kenny Christian, you're going to watch, see Dana Looker on the inside. And I thought that they should have probably gone to Dana Looker on that one because the linebacker was expanding underneath.
Anthony White plunges across for the first score of the game. 6 points for the Thunder. So an early 6-0 lead for the Thunder. On to kick the extra point will be native German Axel Cruz, and with the right foot right through the uprights, and a 7-0 lead for the Berlin Thunder. It has been just what the doctor ordered for the home team. 2nd and goal. Play fake. Hendricks has a man wide open. Marcus Williams, touchdown, and Frankfurt on the board after an impressive drive.
It was an impressive drive. It's an excellent job by the quarterback, Bart Hendricks, standing in the pocket, finding his receiver. Excellent pickup on the stump by the offensive line in the middle. But Bart Hendricks showing, hey, this is what they want to do. Some short passes, build his confidence. And I'll tell you what, he's looking like a whole different quarterback right now.
Ola Kimrin knocks the extra point home, and just like that, we're all tied up at 7 apiece. Usyk across the middle, picked off. Delvin Brown, his 2nd interception of the year, and there he goes down the sidelines before he's pushed out of bounds around the 40-yard line. Dane Looker, normally with glue on his hands, has it slip through, and that mistake cost the Thunder. But they will this time. Interception by Corey Ivy, and he's not down. The whistle has not blown. Usyk, the last man with a chance, and he gets him down.
Corey Ivy.
Oh, big play by Todd Usyk to save a touchdown. That would have been devastating against Berlin.
Welcome back to sunny España. Nick Halling along with Sean Jones. No, that's not us, but I wish it was, Sean. It's a glorious evening here in Barcelona. And we're just getting ready for the start of the second half. The first half was certainly no shortage of thrills and spills. 5 touchdowns, and one man really stole the show. He does a bit of everything. Richmond Flowers, number 9, 2 touchdowns. He can catch the ball, he can run, he can make yards after the catch as well. And Flowers, really the man from the Dallas Cowboys, putting on quite a display here in the last week of the regular season. This is a terrific play, a 61-yard pickup from Mike Watkins. Oh, and he does pretty good impressions as well. This guy, I think, does it all.
I coach in this league 27 years. Not once, not even once, I coach a guy that runs any better than a 4-7. I coach 4-3s all the time. But you know what? They stick their thumbs in the ball. I coach Lawrence Phillips. And you know what? He couldn't pick up the blitz. That's why he's selling insurance.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is so funny.
It wouldn't take long, though, for him to get that face back.
You think Sam's had a word with him in the locker room at halftime?
Oh, my goodness.
Where is Lawrence Phillips now as well, by the way?
He just came across the border from Canada. Didn't like it there either.
Maybe he'll be back here under Sam's tutelage. Sam's coming back up towards us.
Not if he can't pick up the blitz.
No.
That's one thing Coach Partigliano will not tolerate. But you see Flowers' versatility, scoring in both end zones. Nice pitch and catch between he and Watkins there in the second quarter. Nice game so far.
Is it true that Sam Rutigliano does a good impression of Richmond Flowers, by the way, or is that just a rumor?
I think that might be it. I mean, you don't make the Fox double box unless has to be some truth to that, Nick.
There's got to be a connection there, hasn't there? There's a fella who couldn't quite connect with what would have been a record-setting field goal right at the end of the first half. Valery Pizetsky, Ruths and Moses are the return men. Scotland have the lead. They will have their hands on the ball first as well.
But you got to love the attitude of both coaching staff in terms of letting guys just go for it. Not just, playing conservative, trying to just run the clock out. They're really going for it today.
Pizetsky with an absolute boomer of a kick that goes 3 yards deep. Ruths will attempt to return it. Looks for a seam. Can't find one. Yes, spins away. All the way to the 25-yard line. We expect some changes in the quarterback position, certainly as far as Barcelona are concerned. But I suspect James Brown is going to get an extended workout for the Scottish Claymores, and indeed he is coming out to start this second half. What are your thoughts on what you've seen of this fella so far?
Yeah, because you'd have to play right up, coming off of Flowers and what he did in the first half. You have to look at what Brown did. Having a nice half himself. Just the one bad pass, but doing a lot of nice things with the ball. You like to see the composure. You like to see the guy make good decisions with the football. He did both of those things in the first half.
Blue 9.
First down at their own 25-yard line. Goodman gets the ball, gets 4 yards before he's tackled. And so that's going to be second down and 6. Rashard Harris on the stop.
You can't do a Claymore game without talking about Whisper Goodman and that whole probably one of the best nicknames of all time, because it conjures up, why is he Whisper? Well, normally he doesn't say a thing, but the last few weeks getting to the end zone so much, I mean, this guy's screaming, he's spiking the football, and my goodness, I had a moment last week watching him. I didn't even know, I thought he was a mute. I didn't even know he said anything until I saw him get excited when he scored.
He is a quiet guy, there's no question about that, and his running style is a whisper as well. Dondre Gilliam incomplete, so James Brown unable to connect there. Scott Dreisbach allocated here from the Detroit Lions, looking on today, and he's had his troubles. Certainly not everything that's happened with this Scotland offense has been his fault, although a lot of fans have kind of pointed the finger at him, which isn't fair. But he's shown an awful lot of class for me in just saying, hey, James Brown should get the start today, just to give him an opportunity to show what he can do.
Now, Dreisbach is a quality guy. When you talk about leadership on your football team, guys on the team know who their leaders are. And a lot of times you find in the NFL, your leaders aren't your best players, but Dreisbach in this situation is one of the best players on the Claymores, and he is a leader.
Third down, Brown manages to evade Matt Leo. Now, can he find a man? Stevon Fontana makes a terrific catch. Well, we knew he could block. We didn't know he could pull balls out of the air like that.
Fontana ball! Last week, we're doing the Claymores game, and I go, by the way, you don't get affected by this, but everyone has a team barber, and it just so happens to be Isabella on the Claymores team. I go in there, and Isabella's cutting hair, and there's Fontana getting a nice fresh haircut before the game. And I have to ask a probing question, well, how do you feel to really crush somebody when you're blocking? Well, no. I'm a pass-catching tight end, and he made that very clear. So maybe he's trying to shut us up, Nick. Maybe we talk too much about that blocking ability, but he is a nice blocker and showing that he can also catch the rock, too, and give him the opportunity.
Not much going on for James Brown there. Ron Warner just corralled him down from behind, and the man from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might get his 6th sack of the season, although it was right at the line of scrimmage, so that's one for the statisticians to sort out. Either way, big play from the big man.
Yeah, and Warner, that's the kind of play you get from Warner sometimes. That's the thing about Warner that just frustrates a coaching staff when you see that kind of ability, has just good rear pass rushing ability. 5 sacks, you see that so far in NFL Europe in a 10-game season. That's doing something. But every now and then he slips into this other world and doesn't play the scheme, and so that frustrates the coaching staff, but has a lot of ability.
Gilliam was the intended receiver. He looked at it late as well. Renard Cox on the tackle there. Well, they won't give him a 6th sack as well. He just had a bit of forward progress, Brown, but Warner has a tough job ahead of him. Anybody trying to break that Tampa Bay defensive front has got some names in front of him.
Yeah, not as tough as one would think, though, because the kid is young, and now the NFL is more about economics than it is about ability. So if you come in there now, show that you can play, and guess what, at the right price, with a young player like this is, a $375 a year player, he fits. Believe it or not, he fits more than he doesn't fit.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and long. Brown from the shotgun. He finds Robert Arnault, and Arnault is not going to get a first down. He's the NFL Europe League's leading special teamer, Robert Arnault, which might just get him a job with the Seattle Seahawks, but he was the outlet guy there and was never going to get a first down. So the punting unit on, and they've had their problems with their long snapping this season, Scotland. We've seen it already in this game. Marco Martos ready to return the punt from Aaron Langley. Nothing wrong with that snap. Nothing wrong with the kick. It's a shallow one. Martos will field at the 23 and take it all the way to the 28-yard line. Tony Ortiz hustled down on special teams to make the stop. So the defense of the Dragons holds firm. It's still Scotland leading, though, 21-14.
Anthony White. He's not going to throw it, and he's running out of time. Oh, a lot of trouble, and Anthony White. Oh, what's going on here? Anthony White making it.
Hi, Nick. Nick and Sean. Hi, Nick and Sean.
Welcome back to Barcelona. Nick Halling with Sean Jones. Dragons coach Jack Bicknell has sent out his third quarterback of the ball game. As expected, it's Joe Germain from the Kansas City Chiefs, who started the season as the starting quarterback, had a couple of problems early on, lost the job to Ted White, and his first task is to hand it off to Derek Homer. So Joe Germain is definitely what you'd call one of the game's quiet guys, Sean. You think Whisper Goodman is quiet? I mean, he's a positive cacophony compared to this fella.
And you don't expect that out of a quarterback position. I'm laughing about that because trying to have a conversation with Joe during any kind of meeting is
impossible.
Okay, I was looking for another word.
Good break up there from Hurley Tarver. They were looking for Daniel Guy, but you don't have to scream and shout to get your point across, do you, if you're a quarterback? You can lead by example.
You can, and he does that. But it's a difference, though, between he and White. And having had success a certain way at every level, from high school, college, like Jermaine has, you just get accustomed to doing things your way, and guys rally behind you. And so it just goes to show you that there are different ways to skin a cat. And Jermaine is a very heady quarterback.
Can he convert this third down early here? The pressure was on. He's got Daniel Guy, and Guy will pick up 11 yards and a Barcelona first down. Scott Shields on the stop, but they move the chains.
But one thing you do get out of Joe Jermaine when you talk to him, do you like this offense? It may be a one-word answer, yeah. But it is yes, and he says because it's simple. And they just have, their passing game, they have a 5-step passing game, 3-step passing game, 3 running plays. He says it's very simple offense to master. We just have to execute.
And Berlin now is on the 36-yard line of Frankfurt. There's 17 seconds left in the first half. Husak setting up a screen pass. Anthony White with the ball. He'll be brought down. They'll be well into field goal range, and they should have enough time to kick one.
I'm not quite sure why, because this man is economical with his speech, but listen closely, you might hear it.
Fullback stay. Right Ray, Speedy, H go. On 1-1.
It was a Shakespearean monologue by Joe Standard, that one.
Set. 390.
Well, Speedy means they're going to have a bunch of deep crossing routes. You'll see him at the top of the screen.
And there it is, incomplete, though, looking for Robbie Snelling, the tight end, who drew a crowd in a hurry. So that's going to make it 2nd down and 10.
Right 11, right pitch, right pitch. Mike.
Right Mike 11. On 1-1. Ready?
Right Mike 11, right Mike 11. And Jack is kind of like, Jack is one of those close talkers with the mic. He gets a little mumbles a little bit.
Yeah, very quiet.
I heard White 11.
This whispering thing is being a contagion at the moment. The completion is made to Marco Martos, and he'll pick up 6 yards before.
And for Berlin, Danny Boyd is in to attempt the field goal. 34 yards. It's good. Oh, Danny Boyd. The field goal is good. It's 10-7 Berlin lead, and that means the game is tied up on overall.
Set. Ready.
Flowers is the motion man on third down. There's the three-step drop. He looks one way, looks the other. And he goes the other to his big tight end, Robbie Snelling, who picks up another Barcelona first down. Shields again on the stop. But the man from the Titans.
Now that is a dimension of this offense that has changed. You know, Coach Martino and Coach McNeil have coached together for such a very long time. And then they add a guy like Sam Rutigliano, which brought the option part of their offense together. In other words, they had a base offense, which they still run, but now they've given the receivers the ability to break off their routes if they see something differently on the field.
Back on the ground. Homer is dancing around to good effect as well. Runs into Keith Hayward-Johnson, who eventually pushes him out of bounds, but not until he picked up 7 yards. And an impressive drive this to start the second half from the Dragons. They're doing it on the ground and in the air.
Yeah, and we talk about the simplicity of this offense and, you know, the KISS method. Just keep it simple, son, okay? But you're going to see Homer here just seeing the corner. And what happens in the corner is your defensive end gets pinned. And either by design or by scheme or just being outplayed at that point. But your running back has to see it. Homer saw it in that play.
Play action. And they can't get rid of it. They're looking for Flowers. Big Rob Flickinger, the Englishman, forced the pressure on Jermaine. And Flickinger has had a terrific season. That's back-to-back seasons uninjured now for the man with the Scottish mother and the American father. And a guy who definitely belongs on that defensive front of the Scottish Claymores. What if he was celebrating the World Cup? Oh, I had to mention that again, didn't I, Sean? I'm sorry. Actually, he's got so many stamps on his passport, I don't know what nationality he is. I'm not sure he knows.
Robert. So he's a Scottish
mother.
Englishman.
Says he's English. Born in Oceanside, California. His father was American, and he speaks a very weird accent.
All right, I can work with them, I guess.
Third down and short, flags everywhere.
Delay a game. Offense, number 7, 5-yard penalty.
That's caused by a 35-second play clock. We see that a lot in the early weeks of NFL Europe as quarterbacks and coaches struggle to get up to speed. It's a bit rarer here in the later weeks.
Well, not as bad as last week, though. In the previous week, watching Scotland playing their last 2 games, my goodness, there were flags flying everywhere. So this week, there's been an improvement, not as many flags.
Check.
You know, once again, we talk about progression and trying to get better from week to week. Scotland had to get better. Way too many penalties over the last 2 weeks.
Set. Grenade.
So 3rd and 6 now instead, which changes your perspective a bit. Jermaine looks for Flowers, and Flowers works Todd France and should get first down yardage, although he hasn't got the most favorable spot there. That's right on the first down marker. They may decide to measure that, and it didn't seem the most generous of spots either. So they're going to send the chains on, and it might be decision time.
Going to see Flowers in the slot. Says he loves to play the slot because he's just getting ready to play what he'll have to play in Dallas. With them having kids who occupy the X and the Z position, those are the guys that traditionally have the speed to take it upfield. He knows he's going to be a move guy. And that H position here in NFL Europe gives him that opportunity to get himself ready for the position he'll have to play.
And they got it, but only just. But just is good enough. And one or two Claymores are arguing about that decision. Scott Shields was in there. You wouldn't expect that going into this game, that Scotland out-passing FC Barcelona, but that's what's been happening so far. The Dragons love to put that ball in the air. They run almost as an afterthought, and Scotland, their base really is good.
No. All right. They call X slant hitch, and you'll see something that's curious right here, because now instead of Flowers being in the H position, you're going to see him now in the X position. Here's the H, here's Flowers there in the X.
And Jermaine finds a hole opening up in front of him, and unfortunately,
There's nothing worse than when the turf monster gets you.
Devontae Peterson, number 95, will be credited with the tackle, but Mr. T Monster, you're right, he should get that one, shouldn't he?
The turf monster is this guy that lives and dwells in every field. And comes out whenever you have open grass in front of you and just someone just comes up and just snips your ankle from out of you. It looks pretty ugly.
And then he goes and hides again, so you can't see him.
Looks pretty ugly on film the next day.
You ever get bitten by the turf monster?
Far too many times to mention. Flowers once again in the X position right here.
Second down. Incomplete. Looking for Snelling. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 10. Again, Peterson was bringing the pressure. So 3rd down and 10. And Barcelona being Barcelona, even though it is 3rd down and 10, you just know they're going to throw. I just love to put it upstairs.
Throwing 3rd down and 10, then come back and throwing 4th down and 10 if they don't get it.
Yeah.
Why not?
They do have a man in the backfield. Flags before the snap.
Delay.
Now, what's this all about? Not another delay of game, surely. That really would be an unforgivable one.
Ball start. Offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Richmond Flowers, and we've been singing his praises, but anytime a receiver false starts, that's a wrap on the knuckles, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little too anxious. You know, trying to get after that route a little sooner than before the play is actually snapped. The equivalent of running with the ball before you actually catch it.
It's a
difficult thing to do, believe it or not, because you are trying to get as much separation from the defender, and the closer you get to the end zone, the more critical that is.
Well, they're a long way now, Sean. Pushed back all the way to the 16-yard line. Jermaine flushed out of the pocket and just has to get rid of it as big Pernell Davis supplied the pressure, and that's disappointing for the FC Barcelona Dragons. They were knocking on the door. Instead, they're going to have to settle for a field goal from Jesus Angoy. Just seemed to stall there, didn't it, that drive?
Yeah, things were moving for a little bit, but, you know, that's what happens. And there has been an Achilles heel, which there actually has been, because you can tell by the record. But up this Barcelona offense, it's been their offensive line. Very inconsistent play on their offensive line. And when your offensive line is not playing well, the continuity and the drives that you're unable to maintain, they're just disastrous.
A 34-yard field goal from Jesus Angoy reduces the deficit, but it's still Scotland leading by 4. Who's going to be the offensive MVP of NFL Europe this year? Is it going to be Jamal Robertson of the Rhine Fire? Is it going to be Curtis Alexander? 6 touchdowns on the season so far. What about Todd Husak? Most completions, most touchdowns, most yards. Or possibly a Scottish Claymore, the quiet man, Herbert Goodman, who leads the league in rushing going into the last week of the regular season. Who would your money be on out of that quartet, Sean?
I like Husak, just from the very reason that I like the way that he puts the ball in the air. And I tell you, if Berlin gets into the World Bowl, I think they have, I have every confidence in the world that they will win it, because they really do put pressure on the defense by the way they throw the ball.
25 hits 25, and James Ruths goes out of bounds on the hit from Wade Davis at the 32-yard line. So the Claymores with a chance to build on their lead, although we've seen in recent Scottish Claymores weeks their offense seems to kind of slow down the longer the game goes on, and Gene Darquist will be hoping that doesn't happen here.
It's a team that seems not to handle prosperity very well. You know, it's like the worse they're doing, the better they play. And they don't give up. Don't get me wrong. It's not a football team that you can say lays down. But something negative always happens, just like we saw last week. And when that happens to you time and time again, you know there are guys on the sideline right now saying, oh, I hope this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Brown trying to exercise those ghosts, and Herbert Goodman runs into big Keith Washington, who's been very quiet tonight, the big fella. But he's had a good season, Keith Washington, up front for the Dragons.
And without being critical of the Claymores offense, I have to say this. Like last week, what happens is you run a play, you have success. You know, you have tremendous success. 155 yards in the first half, 15 carries. So that's running the football. But people, you can't assume that the defense is not going to adjust to it. And that's what seems to happen a lot with Scotland. They become, you know, they fall into tragedy from their own success. And they don't really notice that teams are adjusting to what they're doing.
Oh, some adjusting was happening at the line of scrimmage there. I'm not sure if that was Matt Leo or Ennis Davis that just stepped forward. I think it was Davis, who is number 96.
Encroachment, defense, number 96, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Good call, Nick.
Once he's going forward, that's a lot of pounds to come and pull back. You know, it's difficult for Ennis.
Yeah, Ennis Davis is a kid out of USC, and University of Southern California for you Europe people. And and I watched him in college and thought he had some ability, and got drafted, went into the NFL, and just has not lived up to the promise that he had in college. And it's a difficult transition no matter where you go. Some guys get it a lot quicker than other guys. I was just really fortunate.
Here's Goodman, who finds a big hole all the way to the 50-yard line. But, you know, talking about Ennis Davis, he is just an appetizer, really, for the main course. I mean, some of these Scottish Claymores up front, they are big. And they call themselves big this, big that. Big Jarvis Borum, 350. Big Mac is McAllister Collins, 307. And Josh Lovelady, Big Love, at 330. That's what they officially weigh. And I think after 10 weeks in Scotland, they might have put on a few pounds.
448 kilograms.
That's a lot. That's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot. It's a lot even for an Englishman.
First down at midfield. Goodman looks to turn the corner, doesn't get much. A flag comes sailing in from the defensive secondary. It's a good point you made about last week, because Goodman got something like 150 yards as the hold goes against Scotland in the first half, and got about 25 in the second half. I mean, it was like a different look completely. And the early signs here are not encouraging for Whisper in this second half. Was it one of those big guys guilty of the hold?
I mean, they're doing a lot of jawing down there. Please, what we got, guys? What you think? What you think? What you think? There it comes.
Holding, offense, number 80.
That is Kwame Cavell, the receiver.
Number 80, Kwame Cavell, right here. You see it. And anytime you have your arm right outside of the box of the player, they're going to call that, even if you're a wide receiver. But if you don't have wide receivers blocking, your running game can't go. And they really stressed that here. In the last few weeks, once again, Goodman has had such success, and a lot of it has to do with the downfield blocking by his wide receivers. But you pointed out last week, man, it was 150 in the first half, and they were running the heck out of that OT. I mean, Berlin could not stop that play, so they kept running it over and over and over again with much success. But what Berlin did at the half, they go in. Their defense gets a light call. In other words, you tell your guy on the other side of the ball that, hey, my guy's sitting light. You know, he's off his feet a little bit. Now you're alerting your guys that play might be coming. You have a heck of a lot more success when not necessarily you know what's coming, but you know what's not coming. So you can play a lot better. And Berlin did a very nice job in the second half of the game playing against Goodman.
And the band played on. And the sun continues to shine here in Barcelona. The last half of the regular season for these two teams. Brown gets McCready. McCready just scoots away from Wade Davis and will pick up close to first down yardage. They may move the chains on the extra effort from McCready.
Now, McCready's another one of those guys. You know, another one of those guys like Flowers that quietly just runs nice routes, has good hands, and you know, talk to me all day. I put that into the Lawrence Phillips box, you know, like Coach Retigliano talks about, guys that are so talented. Well, you know, there are a whole bunch of guys that are really talented that are pumping gas. Because talent doesn't just make you have to have desire, and you have to want to. And there are a lot of guys that just think they can make this league, NFL Europe, the NFL, just on talent alone. It just doesn't happen that way. You have to work hard at it.
Here's Brown. Will take off with Goodman throwing a block in front of him, and Brown was eventually brought down by Toby Golladay, the defensive tackle, after a 7-yard gain. And this third quarter ticks down the last few seconds. I doubt if they'll get another play off. So the band is going to strike up just to keep everybody entertained. They've enjoyed themselves. And we've reached the end of the third quarter. We have 1 quarter of play left in the NFL Europe regular season. Can Scotland hold on? Can the Dragons fight back? Find out next. Now here's one of the Dragons' most loyal supporters, Sean. Felipe Amate, who's a two-time Spanish lottery winner, which makes him my best mate in the world as well.
He's got the best scam going in Sitges. He's got the chairs going, and you go out there, and he takes real good care of you. But how do you win the lottery twice?
Yeah, and he runs that, as you say, that deck chair concession on Sitges Beach as well. And yeah, you spent a bit of time with Felipe this last week.
A little bit. Runs a nice cerveza stand, too.
On second down, Herbert Goodman does enough to move the chains. It's first down Scotland. This, by the way, was Sean's bedroom in Sitges. You wondered how much trouble we had getting him up here.
It's rough.
I mean, look at his view.
It's rough. I mean, I'm still mad. I'm mad at the people at Fox. I mean, I wanted, you know, I'm mad. You know,
they treated us like dogs this week, dragging us away from Sitges.
It was horrible.
Where we were doing vital research for this game, and they made us put on ties and all that rubbish. And I've got shorts on underneath there. They can't see that. They can't take my shorts off me. I better not. First down, Scotland at the 28-yard line. Brown hands off. Goodman stuffs his way inside for a yard and no more than that, and it looks very similar to last week for Herbert Goodman, doesn't it?
And similar play calling too, because they go back to the counter OF, you know, play that was made so famous by the Washington Redskins of years past, and where they are pulling everything from the backside. A lot of times people...
And in Berlin, we've had another score for the Thunder. Todd Husak. No sooner did I say if he plays well, he hits Kenny Christian. Christian spins into the end zone. The extra point was good. It's 17-7. Berlin now lead Frankfurt.
A little wrinkling and maybe a little play action pass, something to just keep people off balance a little bit.
Yeah, even if you're dead last against the run like Barcelona are, eventually you wise up. Brown can't quite make that happen. Nice defensive play from Toby Golladay, who was released in camp but was given his opportunity when Terry Jolly went down after week 4.
And we talk about bad plays, and this might be the second bad pass for James Brown today. And the mistakes have been few and far between, but just did not see the defender coming and almost had a very ugly play. The closer you get to the end zone, you know, the field gets smaller, and so anything that's running around, it just happens so much quicker. So as a quarterback, you have to force yourself to make the game slow down at that point.
Third down and 9. Brown from the shotgun. He's got a man wide open, and he just couldn't find McCready. You talked about bad throws. You got to look at that one.
That's another one. And now, if you're Brown, you've had success in the first half, made some nice plays. Your team is winning. You got to take a deep breath now. Have to take a deep breath and just settle yourself down, because what you don't want to do is to start putting bad play after bad play after bad play and totally undo what you've already done. You know, success is a habit. So is having bad plays. You know, if you start putting bad plays together, they become a habit too.
Lawrence Tynes has a long of 42 this season. He kicked a 49-yarder last week. This would be a 45-yarder if he can nail it. It's on its way. It's accurate. Has it got the legs? Yes, it has. And the Scottish Claymores are back in front by 7 with 12 minutes and 41 seconds left in the season. It's the World Bowl next week. The Rhine Fire will be there to challenge for it. They'll enjoy home field advantage as well. It's being played in the Rhine Stadion in Dusseldorf. But who will join them? One of two teams will be opposing the Rhine Fire. It'll either be the Frankfurt Galaxy, their arch rivals, or it'll be the new kids on the block, the Berlin Thunder. It will not be Jack Bicknell, though. He will miss his first ever World Bowl. He's going home because his son's getting married. Pisetsky with the kick that is, Tynes with the kick that is 4 yards deep into the end zone, and that rare thing, a touchback on the kickoff. Worldbowl.com, by the way, is where to find out about everything you need to know about the World Bowl, past, present, and probably future, for all I know. Worldbowl.com is the place to be if you are online. And exclusive to worldbowl.com this week, Sean Jones's guide to the finest hotels with sea views on the Spanish Riviera. And he's seen them all, believe me.
Hey, I am looking forward to the World Bowl. Whenever you play anything and you have a chance to play for the title, I mean, it's like no other thing in the world. And you can't compare the World Bowl to the Super Bowl, but it's a championship. When you work this hard, when you work this hard, you have to want to finish it off. And the World Bowl is going to be an opportunity for you to finish it off. And I said this before, there's no surprise that a guy like T. Martin is in the World Bowl. This guy's been a winner at every level. You're going to the NFL now. You have a setback. You get back in what you call something that you can control. That means you come in there, you take a team on your shoulder, and you control from the standpoint of being a leader. And now your team is back in the World Bowl. So it's going to be a heck of a game.
And Ted White is back at quarterback for Barcelona, and play action buys him a lot of time, but now he's got to find Robbie Snelling, who for the third time in this ball game is unable to hang on, and it's tough to be critical as Snelling takes a bit of a whack for his pains as well, but Robbie's got to hang on to that ball.
Yeah, and what every coach will say to you is, hey, dude, you're going to get hit, so you might as well hold on to it. If you drop it, they're still going to hit you, so you might as well hold on to the football. But that was a nice job. I just look at the little things that the quarterbacks are doing, that some of the receivers are doing, that some of the running backs are doing. You want to be able to build on it. And what Ted White did on that last play, buying time with his feet and then throwing a nice soft pass in there, those are the kind of things you like to see in a guy that's been here for 10 weeks now.
No let-up of intensity on that Scotland defensive front. That was Devontae Peterson leading the way there as Robbie Snelling continues to get treatment. And you talked about this, Sean. We said, yes, it's the last game of the season. But no, these guys will not be letting up, because this is a last chance, really, for them to put something good down on film to take back to the States with them. And they've maintained that intensity throughout, these guys, haven't they?
Offensively and defensively. Let's look at Scotland's defense. A very highly ranked defense a week ago. Just gave up some ridiculous numbers last week, so kind of knocked them down a little bit. But these guys have to play. And, I was fortunate when I played. I learned aggressive style defense from Buddy Ryan. I learned how to be technique pure and the importance of that from a Fritz Sherman. And just being able to break down an entire offensive team from a guy named Charlie Sumner when I was with the Raiders. This guy Woodard here now, the defensive coordinator for the Claymores, I could play for him. What he does is a little bit different. When you go through a script during the week, most guys, they go and they just script so you can win during practice. He says, no, guys, we're not going to do that. He puts his guys in the worst-case scenario, and I think that's why they had so much success early in the season and the latter part of the season, with the exception of last week.
White 30. Sunday.
Second down and short. White looks one way, nothing doing. He's got Tom Tovo after him, and he just spins it away, which is very sensible with Tom Tovo on your heels. Now then, who's going to be going to the World Bowl? Who joins the Rhine Fire at the big show next week? Well, Tom Tovo won't be there. Frankfurt and Berlin, we still don't know. Second quarter, Berlin need to win that game by 4 points, by the way, on tiebreakers. If they win by 3 or less, they will not go to the big show next week. So at the moment, Frankfurt doing enough, but a long way to go.
So it's 0-0, no matter what. Tie game for them right now is like it's nothing.
Exactly, yeah.
Because they need points. And that, I tell you what, when they put the tiebreaker system in here, it just brings a different complexion and a different energy to a game, because it's not good enough to just win the game. Imagine being Berlin right now.
Yeah.
You go out, you play a heck of a game, and then you leave it in the foot of a daggone kicker, and he misses it. Okay.
Oh, here we are, back to kickers again. Look at you.
It always comes back to the kicker, because either they do their job or they lose games for you. But Berlin's got to pick it up at this point.
You're relentless, Sean. You really are. Here's White going for Flowers once again, who's in full coverage this time. And how he came down with that, I will not know. What an effort from the Dallas Cowboys. Tarver and Gary were both there, and Flowers looked to have no chance, and that is a terrific catch.
Well, listen, this is one of those situations. You're watching a football game. You're not, you go in and out of the game, and all of a sudden you hear, oh, my goodness. And then you look up, and who else could it be? The same guy that's been making plays all day long, playing wide receiver, just like playing defensive backfield in the NFL, in college, in high school, pee-wee, whatever. It's all about an attitude. And I said it in the opening, this kid has that attitude. And a lot of guys, it takes forever to figure this out. But if you compete, you give yourself a chance.
38 yards on the completion. There goes Carl Fair plowing his way for 4 yards. Richmond Flowers having quite a day today. 6 catches, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's not finished yet.
Yeah, and it's one of those kids that just gets what this league is all about. A lot of guys come over here and they mope, why am I here? Or I didn't get a right chance. The cat ate my homework, something. This guy came over here and said, you know what? I'm not going to put that much pressure on myself. I've learned just let the game come to me. If I just play well, you know what? If the Dallas Cowboys cut me, then I get another opportunity someplace else, because I'm going to make myself the best possible football player.
They were looking for Marco Martos in the end zone there, and Martos was tangled up with Hurley Tarver, and the moment that that tangle occurred, they both went down and flags flew. And it's going to be called against the Claymores. Sometimes they'll rule it incidental, but the response from the officials there was instant.
Yeah, and the key is if the defender gives the impression or makes it look like he's impeding the route of the wide receiver.
Number 40, spot foul, first down.
Now what Barcelona likes to do is to put pressure on defense, especially in the red zone. So they come with a slant, which is a very hard thing for any defense to defend because your feet have to be moving so quickly in order to cut the receiver off. And that's what happens. Contact, incidental or otherwise, is going to draw the flag.
So 1st and goal at the 1. Barcelona looking to tie it up. On the ground, Carl Fair does not quite get in. The Dragons continuing to breathe with just over 8 minutes left here in the ball game.
And Scotland prides themselves on their goal line defense. They look at this situation as sudden change. You know, and sudden change is anytime something bad happens, how do we turn it into something good?
Bring the H in tight and right quarterback sneak.
We got right quarterback sneak on one, right?
Now, quarterback sneak, which normally, Nick, is a play that you close your eyes and hope something good happens. But this guy, the quarterback, Ted White, is such a big guy.
And there he goes.
Gives you a shot.
But he doesn't get in. They read it. They must have heard it because White looked a little tentative at the snap there.
He looked a little tentative because there's a little bit of hitting going on out there. Here we go.
Yeah, that'll get you pretty tentative.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about the sounds of Fox. There you have it. Because low man wins on goal line. And what happened in that play, Barcelona, they were high and Scotland was low.
And now this is big. The Claymores trying to maintain a stand here, and they do, and he'll lose yards, Carl Fair. Tony Ortiz leading the way, but that was a great team effort, and decision time now for Ted White and the FC Barcelona Dragons.
Come on. Yeah, attitude. We talk about attitude on the offensive side of the ball. You talk about attitude on the defensive side of the ball here.
Right, 4 naked.
Let's go. Hey,
no sign of any kickers. He's going for it on 4th down.
Right, 4 naked, first down. Right. Come on, Paul, go
4 naked. Now, this is where defensive lineman can look pretty bad if he doesn't stay at home and play his position, trying to be technique pure.
There he goes. And he's got it. Touchdown to Ben Zagorski, who's only on the field because Robbie Snelling is hurt. And that's his first catch of the season. And what a timely one that was.
There we go.
What about that? You hardly get any playing time all season. You're only on the roster because of injuries to other guys, and you've just put your team level.
You put them level
in the last quarter of the last game.
Because like we've been saying, you know, you have to continue to play, and that was nice execution in that last play with White carrying out a nice fake, and then them not giving up on the play. The receiver still has to get himself open.
Langaway has to make that extra point, and he does, and we are level with 6.5 minutes left. This last game refuses to go quietly. We're all square.
Love you, Ma. Coming home Monday.
You know what that second Monday means, Nick? That means food. The second Monday means food. When you're away from home for such a long time, that means, Mom, whatever I like to eat, which you know, get it ready Monday, all right? Not Tuesday, but Monday. I'll be home Monday, looking ready to eat.
He's got his travel plans. Who's going to leave this game with the win? Moses takes a bouncing ball at his 8-yard line. Runs into trouble. Terrific special teams effort from Cornelius Anthony. Let's take another look at that touchdown and the mystery man, Ben Zagorski.
Yeah, the play's going to be naked. That means it's going to come out this way. But what you have to look for is the backside guy coming across. That's who the go-to guy is on a naked play, not the front side, even though the action comes back to the front side, but from the receiver trailing from the backside.
Look how clean that jersey is, Sean. I mean, the guy's
not a spot on it.
He's the 4th choice tight end, but injuries have taken their toll, and this fella has taken, it's something we've talked about, you know, making the most of your opportunities. Zagorski got his one chance and he took it. First down at the 25. There's movement, but no flags. Goodman gets the carry. Goodman picks up a couple, and it's a reminder of what we saw last week as Troy Pelchak makes the stop. They've got very conservative against Scotland.
Yeah, it's almost like they are seeing something that we up here are not seeing. And you just have to respect the fact that the coaches coach, players play, and announcers announce. But I don't see it because you're not playing for anything per se from the standpoint of where you go next week. So I would just be trying to just pull out the kitchen sink and make them defend it as opposed to just trying to run the same thing over and over again. After a while, you can't assume that your opponent is that stupid.
Was heavily criticised last week, Darkis, for some very conservative play calling at the end of that loss. That's a bit more like it. They'll move the chains on that catch to J.J. Moses. First, Andre Gilliam, excuse me. Wade Davis on the stop. Couldn't have been Moses. They've barely thrown a ball to him the last 5 weeks.
J.J. Moses is a funny kid, though. He's every bit of 5'2½".
Yeah, and that's in heels.
No, but the funny thing, his dad is like 6'2" and change. His little brother is 6'2" and change. And mom is an elf. Mom is like 4'11". So he and mom work out all the time. He says, you know, they go to the gym and they work out. They have a lot of things in common.
First down. Brown goes over the middle. Scott McCready makes the catch. They'll move the chains once again. But coming back to J.J. Moses, I remember talking a few weeks ago to Al Saunders, the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, and they said, and he said to me, Moses nearly made that team last year, and they think if he has a good season here, he may have an even better chance as a returner.
Yeah. The year we won the Super Bowl, we had a kid in our team named Desmond Howard. That was also the same year that Brett Favre won the league MVP. Brett won the league MVP, but even in Brett's eyes, as well as myself, our team MVP was Desmond Howard. He made so many big special teams play, returning the ball and putting us in such a great position that you cannot downplay the value of a great return man.
At the 42-yard line. Back on the ground, Goodman gets a yard, no more than that. And going back to that conservative play calling, Goodman had the Claymores single-game rushing record at one point. He had 176 yards and then lost numbers on 2 consecutive plays, so he lost the record. And Brown's numbers for a first start are not bad.
And then what you're seeing from Barcelona now at this point is that they know what's coming. You know, you'll see them being a little bit more nosy. By that, I mean, you'll find guys playing close to the line of scrimmage. Grant, you know, a corner that's normally in the slot is taking a little bit more chances coming off the corner, trying to make a play and putting all kinds of pressure.
Brown did half a good job there. He managed to evade the rush. He had a wide open Stevon Fontana and threw it too high for him. Ennis Davis almost got him, but almost is not good enough.
Yeah, you'll see the pressure coming from all over the place. They're just deciding, hey, we're not going to let this guy be comfortable. He hasn't played all year. We are not mixing things up enough for him. So let's start bringing him some different looks. Let's bring people off the corner. Let's not just sit in cover 2. Let's play a little 3. Let's play 4. Let's give him a lot of different things to look at. This guy has not played all season. How can he be this comfortable back there? Why? Because you're letting him. You have to do, you know, some different things on the defensive side of the ball.
There's movement, and Big Ian Allen certainly jumped the right tackle for the Scottish Claymores, number 77. He drew a flag in the first half. Does he get another one here? They do like to tease us, this crew, don't they? They take their time.
But this is a good chance for me to vent a little bit. Now, there's a rule that they changed a few years back. And it was because of a friend of mine named Neil Smith. Neil used to get in the stands and flinch and just make all the offensive linemen jump offside. So to make it fair, they changed the rule back, you know, where you make an offensive lineman flinch. And
neutral call and infraction
let's hear
on the
this.
defense. That's a
You see?
5-yard
There it
penalty.
is.
That's
Third
what I
down.
mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Hate that rule.
Well, you as a defensive end, you love this.
If you jump, you jump the offensive guy, you can get back. It's a penalty. But now, if you make the guy jump, they call it illegal. There's nothing illegal about it. That's my point. And they just penalize us, great athletic defensive linemen, because these chubby offensive linemen can't react. And they treat us like, you know, second-class citizens.
Tell you what, Ron Warner's out there reacting at the moment. He's still jawing away, not happy.
That's the time when you got to, you know.
Best seats in the house up there. Somebody's phoning the score to his buddy.
Let's see if Warner reacts to this now.
Sit on! We're at 9!
So third down and short now. And they try and draw him again, but they stay at home, and Brown looks, and he's got a running lane in front of him. Now he decides to go, and he gets a first down, and it was easy there. The surprise was Brown took so long to take it. But he did, and it's enough to give Scotland a first down. It was all there for him. He wanted blockers, I think. Let's listen in.
Go. He's just directing traffic out there. When you get back there, you need a blocker. You tell those big guys in front of you, turn around and hit something in a different color, just hit it.
Less than 3 minutes in the season. Goodman gets the carry, gets past the first guy and the second guy, looks to turn the corner and tiptoes out of bounds before the first down marker. But Goodman, in the last 2 minutes and a half of the regular season, still has quite a spring in his step. Jim Emmanuel, the guy eventually who pushed him out of bounds.
Now, there are so many good Whisper Goodman stories. One, a guy named Alonzo Highsmith, who is a scout with the Green Bay Packers, has gotten credit for discovering Whisper Goodman, you know. You hear stories about him, like you see that there's a movie in the States called The World's Greatest Athlete about this kid that was in the far reaches of Africa and that could do all these different things, and people were talking about him. So they go over there, recruit this kid, bring him back, and he can do everything: run, play basketball, football. And those are the stories they had about Goodman, who was just this great athlete playing at Graceland. Now, I thought the only person that played at Graceland was Elvis.
Yeah,
but
different.
They Whisper too.
Different Graceland. That's somewhere in Iowa. They've taken a timeout, the Scottish Claymores, with 2:35 left. We'll be back in just a moment.
Are opening up in Dusseldorf first. The Amsterdam Admirals, a little quick pitch from Kevin Daft to Raphael Cooper. Cooper goes all the way for the touchdown. Here's a guy they weren't talking about as an MVP, but he's done everything for Amsterdam, running and catching this season. But then on the ensuing kickoff, Derek Alston from the Fire gets a good block here. Watch Joe O'Donnell, the kicker. That's an Olay kind of tackle. Olay, let him go by. And there goes Alston into the end zone, 14-10 in Rhine.
But somehow, after all these years, it won't quite be the same. There's a lot of memories for Dragons watchers and Dragons fans here in this stadium. Can they finish on a high? The Claymores have other ideas. Second down, on the ground, Goodman pushes his way forward for tough yardage. 3 yards will bring up a third down and 3. Jim Emmanuel on the stop.
All right. Yeah, let it go 2 minutes. Let it go to 2 minutes.
And Gene Darquist is going to let the clock go down to 2 minutes.
All right, we got it.
You mentioned the relationship between FC Barcelona and NFL Europe, and I think it's a great thing. I think when you can marry local sports associations that have had so much success with what you're trying to build in the NFL, that's the perfect marriage right there, the perfect marriage.
We're at the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the regular season for these two teams locked together at 24 points apiece. 10 years ago, the Olympic flame was burning in this stadium, but now that flame is about to go out for the FC Barcelona Dragons as tenants here at the Estadi Olimpico. These fans would love to go out on a winning note. And if making a noise is anything to go by, they'll get their wish. But first, their defense has got to make a stand. Third down with 2 minutes left for the Scottish Claymores. Brown, play action, rolls out, looks, can't find Kevin McKenzie, excuse me. And it'll be decision time, and they've already made their decision. Lawrence Tynes will attempt the field goal.
It was just a matter of time before Moore showed up. That ball was a little high, but Moore comes into the play and just whop-a-lops my guy, okay? Because this guy, some guys come to play, Moore comes to hit. He's one of those whatever guys. Everybody has a buddy back home that something bad is going to happen. He's like, whatever, let's just do it. And Moore is that whatever guy. We got a chance here, though, Nick.
38 yards for Lawrence Tynes. Can he give the Claymores the lead? It's on its way. It's accurate. It's long. It's good.
No!
Scotland in front. 1:53 left in the season.
That means we're not level anymore.
You hate level, don't you? You hate overtime and all that stuff.
I actually like overtime.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, we may have it here.
I mean, if Barcelona finds their offense from the standpoint of being able to just put a drive together, move the chains. At 151 in a football game, as you know, it's plenty of time to move down, up and down the field. So it's not over. And they're keeping true to form, Nick. When we talked about it earlier, about guys coming to play and wanting to play and wanting to go out on a high note. This has been a heck of a football game. I don't care what anyone says. It's been a heck of a football game.
It has. It's been fun to watch. It's been fun to call. It looks like it's been fun to play as well. These guys just seem to have enjoyed themselves. Some of these fans have just been topping the Tans up.
No, I was walking by a guy at the nacho line at halftime, and, you know, he's making noise about how he thought that by now, you know, Barcelona would blow them out and so on and so forth. I mean, what are you talking about? It's a heck of a game. We're having fun doing the game.
By the way, this is the Scottish Claymores front office. That's Scott Cooper with the open shirt there, the receiver for a number of years, and our show of solidarity.
Oh,
Scott,
man.
by the way, is...
they are way out of line.
Yeah, Scott needs to do that thing up. I mean, there's no extra dinners in there, I know, but... well, the Claymores front office having fun, and are they in the front office as well? They seem to be. They're always around.
You know,
Scott Cooper is going to wake up in the morning and say to himself, did I do that?
As a former cheesehead, I'm not feeling the plaid cheese. Where does plaid cheese come from?
You'd have to ask those
I'm
guys.
a world traveler now. I haven't been in Europe for over 3 weeks now. I have not seen plaid cheese anywhere.
Well, you have now. Is
one man.
Yeah, it's going to be Derek Homer getting it to midfield. What a play.
Oh, my God. I wish he would have challenged us.
Look at this. Scott Cooper's glasses are going to... He couldn't believe what he saw himself.
Hey, Cooper, there's a game going on while you're trying to perfect the wave.
46 yards
But, man, I
Derek Homer.
wish he would have just challenged the kicker. I like to see kickers get run over.
Now then, they've given themselves terrific field position. The one thing the Claymores didn't want, the one thing the Dragons absolutely needed, and they've got it. Now, can Ted White finish the job? Can he finish the season on a high? Carl loses the football! And it's recovered by FC Barcelona. That was almost a disaster. I think at the bottom of that is Ty Wise, who's got the ball. And that's the second time today Ty Wise has got his hands on the football. That must be a record.
No, but the thing is that in this situation, Nick, what you can ill afford, you always get in the huddle and you say, protect the ball, protect the ball. That's the last thing you say. Well, you hit it up in there, and then sure enough, a slashing defender comes through and makes a play on the ball. And
Here's
gets the
White
ball out.
looking for something to happen. And he's down. Nowhere to go for Ted White. Jarrett Purcell.
You see Purcell this play, Lockhart the play before. That's when your defensive line steps up. This is what happened to them last year, last week, I should say, them being Scotland. They were going in, and then all of a sudden they started going backwards. Look, very reminiscent of what happened to our Scotland last week. Now they've turned the table somewhat.
Slots right, Ray Speedy, okay? Hey.
H go.
Slots right, Speedy, H go, but put Richmond at X.
Okay.
Okay, so Richmond's run the dig and Carlos run the go.
Purcell's third sack of the year has made it third down and very long for the Dragons.
All right, but what he's doing here is trying to give them as many options as possible. You come out slot right, Speedy, H go. Your H goes on the go. You're going to have a delay under crossing route, shallow on the backside.
4 wide receivers on third down and 18. White trying to keep this thing alive. There it is. There's Marco Martos. He picks up a bunch of yards, but he's still about 8 yards shy. Todd France pushes him out of bounds, and this is go for it territory, of course. They're going to get it back in chunks.
Yeah, have nothing to lose there, but I like the play call. You give this guy at least an opportunity to make a play either down the field or you take care of the ball underneath.
Slots right.
Cool, whoever said this was going to be a meaningless exhibition match, this has been terrific.
I love the way they're calling this game. I love the way Barcelona is calling their offensive side of the game. They're giving their guys a chance to play football, and they're trying to pressure Scotland into making some mistakes.
Fourth down. The Dragons' season comes down possibly to this one play. White needs 8 yards. He's going for a lot more than that, and it's picked off by James Ruths. His second interception of the season, and now he loses the football, and a flag comes in, and we've got everything going on down there, Sean.
The sight I like to see was Shields leading the return, eyeing up the kicker. Only bad things could have happened if he got a hold of him.
Now, what's the flag all about? It seemed to come after the interception. So I don't think this is going to rescue Jack Bicknell's Dragons. But we must wait and see.
Into the wind.
Well, so much for these two teams going quietly. Well, it's just a hold after the play. No. They both wanted the win here, didn't they?
Holding on the intercepting team. Number 53, that penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
So it happened after the play. It's a Scotland ball. And the stadium clock is saying 44.6 seconds left. It looks like the Claymores are about to level their season up at 5-5.
Yeah, you see Roots here battling for the ball. Rosado could have made a play on the ball, but just seemed like he kind of misjudged his step a little bit. But it's Scott Shields that causes the fumble.
Dragging the jersey off the guy.
You know, Shields is going to get in the playbook, in the stat sheet, some way, somehow. Cause fumble on your own guy.
Today's game has been produced by Lady Fran Morrison and directed by Mike Frank. And the AD was Wayne Wilson. The broadcast associate was Darren Foster. And thank you to all our terrific crew from Cinevideo. A thumbs up from the boys. We couldn't do it without them. And they work harder than us, Sean. Let's face it, these guys.
No, it's been a fun game to call, man.
Yeah. Oh, there they go. There's another smile. Terrific crew here in Barcelona. We've been very fortunate. And the season comes to an end for the Scottish Claymores and the FC Barcelona Dragons. In many ways, they saved the best till last. That really was a terrific game of football.
Talked about it. We said guys had to come to play, and they did. They did exactly what they said they were going to do. Very good game to watch, good game to call.
And next week, of course, these two teams will be watching the World Bowl from the United States, of course. You and I will be watching it at the Rhine Stadion, and it'll be your first taste of the World Bowl,
yes,
won't it?
Sir. Looking forward to it. Absolutely. Looking forward to it. It should be a heck of a contest. Looking forward to getting an update on what's happening right now so we can find out who the other participant will be. But all German final, no matter how you look at it.
Absolutely. It's going to be good. Thank you very much, Sean. It's been a pleasure working with you the last couple of weeks. I look forward to working with you next week as well at the World Bowl in Dusseldorf. For here, it's finished Scotland 27, the FC Barcelona Dragons 24. The Claymores level their season at 5-5, and we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been great fun here in Barcelona. The sun is setting, and until next week, from all of us here in Barcelona, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Coach, congratulations. How important was it to finish the season on a winning note?
Well, I think it's a lot easier in the off-season, much easier. It makes you feel like you have a chance to do some things right when you win that last game. And I thought our players, with the short week of practice and the distraction of going on the road and having to leave from here to go home, did a great job of concentrating on what this was about, our first win ever in Barcelona.
Hey, you know, Coach, it's Sean Jones. You know, a lot of different coaches go about this league a little bit differently, but it seemed like you guys really take pride in trying to develop your players. Tell the fans a little bit about how you guys go about that.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. I didn't quite hear it, Sean.
I said a lot of the coaches in this league kind of coach a little bit differently, but you guys really stress trying to develop your players. Can you tell us a little bit about how you go about that?
Well, we make sure that all of our players get a chance to play, and we are committed to that. And normally, except for a couple of positions, players will play 25 to 35, maybe 40 plays a game. So everybody does get a chance to develop. So we were looking at tape from earlier in the season, and we knew that our players were better now than they were at the beginning of the season. There's no doubt about it.
Coach, congratulations. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next season.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. See you, Sean.